The ulti's going to pop off from Oracle. Hook back in from Andros. Going to be charging up that epicenter. No one's getting out of here. That's 3 going down. Disruptor, he was de-warding. Look at the damage. Oracle buys back, sweet as honey, says the big boy bear, and they are going to just crush your high ground from this. What a massive fight.
Welcome back, folks. It is week 3 of LPL Season 2 for 2020. We've already had 2 weeks of fantastic Australian Dota coming right to your screens, and we're already started with week 3. And this day, it's already set up to be an amazing one. But you're joined again by GTH Dota and the WanderingBard. How's it going, man?
I'm going terrifically, GTH. Week 3 is looking like maybe the best of the tournament so far, with some incredible clashes that are going to really sort out for once and for all the hierarchy between the teams at the top of our ladder.
That is true, but if we're coming off last week, there was a pretty amazing series to finish it off. Both games pretty amazing, but AGN managing to take a game off Neet Uprising 1-1 and Eternal Discord going 2-0 down to FFYV2 in their debut.
Yeah, and what an impressive debut. It's been a long time since I've seen a relatively new team come out of the blocks like this. In the LPL Pro League, FFYV2 have certainly made their mark, and they look like a top contender going into the rest of the season.
That is right, and it's reflected in the leaderboard, where FFYV2, they'll be sharing the lead with Crossfire 4-0, Oracle AU 4-0, FFYV2 4-0, and then following close to Neet Uprising 3-1, AGN 1-3, and the bottom 2 teams, Eternal Discord and TOONZ REBORN at 0-4, just scaling there, looking to put points on the board.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, that ladder might change after tonight. In fact, will change after tonight. Several of those teams in top competition, as we noticed, will be playing. And FFYV2, I think they're very likely to be 6-0 after tonight. They've got a tough assignment ahead of their opponents, TOONZ REBORN. A little bit hot and cold over the last couple of weeks.
That's right, they've been trying to keep everything together, but maybe this week is the week that they bring it in the series here. But after that, a pretty amazing game too. Neet Uprising versus Crossfire. An amazing series I want to see, but the first game, we're happy to see it. FFYV2 proven to be a dominant force in their first series. TOONZ REBORN, we're just happy to see them excited, and their teams, they're looking pretty good on the FFYV2.
Yeah, exactly. FFYV2, of course, you only watched them play one match, but it was the kind of play that you immediately recognize. It was not a flash in the pan. These guys know what's up. WiGod, in particular, really impressive out of the mid lane. We saw one game where WiGod sort of led from the front, taking that mid-game carry role, and then another game on the Templar Assassin where he just farmed and the whole team made space. That TA farmed up to a perfect timing and then brought the house down. It was brilliant, regimented Dota. I'm excited to see more of it.
I'm excited to see more of TOONZ REBORN filling in for the same squad they had last week. Moops, Gachi, Johto, ESPX, Sentinel. They are proven to be a little bit flexible, but one real highlight is just Moops' position for play in that support role. This man keeps bringing the flame.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of when we had the old Virtus Pro squad doing the all-hero challenge in the middle of Summit one time, but Moop loves to pick all these different support heroes. We've seen some very unusual picks. Some have worked better than others. I still won't let them forget that support troll pick that kind of went awry for them in week 1, but we've certainly shown that those picks can work out, and I do believe in TOONZ REBORN. I think that if this team can just fire on all cylinders once or twice, they could potentially upset any team in this competition, including FFYV2.
That is true, and we've only actually seen one series of FFYV2 come in, and especially drafting being one of their strongest suits, to getting straight into the action. Game 1 already here, the draft already started, the bands, they're already going, getting rid of the Lycan, getting rid of the Bounty, but also getting rid of the Storm Spirit and the Shadow Fiend from TOONZ.
Yeah, exactly. Telling that TOONZ are targeting mid-heroes, right? And especially these kinds of reliable farming mid-heroes. Both Storm and Shadow Fiend share the potential to carry games hard no matter what the matchup, because you can always shove the lane out and they jungle quite well when allowed that kind of breath of air from the mid lane for a moment. So by removing those there, I guess limiting WiGod's power, although we didn't see him play either of those heroes last week.
That is true. The man did play, what, TA and Wind Ranger and dominated with both, so maybe they're thinking a little bit different, but pretty much standard bans from FFYV2. Lycan, we know, is insanely strong. Bounty's always good at picking off the gold. Quap has basically been the mid-hero, or at least the hero of the season so far, just being picked up constantly in every single game she can be picked up in.
Yeah, interesting to see the first two bans, Lycan and Bounty. Not so sure about the Bounty, but obviously Lycan, a hero that's kind of out of control at the minute. And then after seeing the mid-targeted bans from TOONZ, they go with some mid-bans of their own. Quap and Lina, both hugely consistent heroes and sort of widely played heroes as well. Heroes who have very few bad matchups. You would say they're kind of safe mid-picks, especially Lina, right? Very hard to lose the lane as her. So maybe they're trying to make TOONZ uncomfortable in the mid lane scene, but they're already kind of cagey about what they're letting WanderingBard set up in terms of matchups.
That's right, a little bit of different picks coming from both sides here. Shadow Demon, Witch Doctor, not the first two heroes that we've been seeing at all, but they're still pretty strong in their own right.
Yeah, I would definitely put these, that if there's like a top 10 support picks that you can always go with in any patch of Dota 2, any laning setup, these two are right. They're very safe lane supports. Obviously, both have a bit of flexibility. Both noted quite good at killing solo offlaners. It's very hard for these kinds of durable characters like Centaur, Tide, Underlord to remain in a lane like they normally can, given the way that Maledict and Shadow Poison can stack up damage nearly infinitely. But other than that, they're just sort of strong, defensive-ish supports.
That is true. We'll put a second pick here, and usually when you do have the Witch Doctor, you're just trying to pair him up with somebody to make that Maledict do work. Is there anything that has been banned that really just jumps to mind? It's a perfect combo with Witch Doctor?
Well, Witch Doctor, like I said, very versatile hero, but obviously any hero that can take advantage of the somewhat slow cast stun projectiles good, help them set that up, set up Maledict. I like Luna, actually. It's obviously a very strong hero in the patch, especially with Lycan already banned. It becomes kind of the strongest pushing carry. Very flexible in item build and even in item timing. You can go early, or you can kind of hedge your bets and farm for later, and it makes a great laning duo with Luna's aura, extending the Witch Doctor's already nice attack damage and range. But we've got Centaur Wall Runner instead, so switching things up. I don't know if these two are a laning duo, but there certainly means that you've got two side lanes fairly well anchored at the start of the draft.
A really strong laner in a Centaur who probably doesn't care about the Shadow Demon, but now he's going to have to be dealing with the Ursa himself, and I don't think Ursa cares how many retaliate charges you got. He's going to be stacking up those Fury swipes.
Yeah, it's interesting. Ursa and Shadow Demon both very effective against these sort of endurance-based offlaners. Like I said, they both have abilities that stack up and scale up in damage over time, so you can't just rely on being very tanky to get you out of situations. But unlike certain other offlaners of that kind of style, Centaur does have a very strong stun and quite a strong nuke. So especially if you send up a potent dual lane with that Centaur, there's the possibility to turn on that Ursa. I would not underrate Retaliate. It's a very strong skill in the early levels.
So are we thinking of a different hero than Witch Doctor pairing up here? Just a different support, maybe a different position for anything that really just works perfectly here?
I certainly think that Witch Doctor's better off as a safe lane support. I know that some teams like it and some teams don't, but I'm a big fan of Treant Protector, and I think that Treant and Centaur together in a lane is very, very strong. It's basically impossible to go on you can't go on the Treant because he's always in the trees. And then if you go on the Centaur, you're not only walking into the hoof stomp that's going to hurt your ability to trade with the high retaliate damage, but then you're going to get slowed by the Treant's Nature's Grasp and potentially an Orb of Venom slow as well. You cannot trade auto attacks. So those are probably the two hardest hitting level 1 heroes in the game, on top of being stunned inside a very potent dot ability. There's just no way that Ursa can handle that.
Well, I guess we'll find out what he can handle. TOONZ REBORN just holding their time here for their third pick. They've banned out Necro, they've banned out Pugna, so Necro very sustain heavy, just able to delete the Ursa, right? You just put the Reaper on. Ursa's not going to be doing much, but then again, is it going to be enough?
Well, they banned out the Necro on the side of TOONZ REBORN.
Yeah, so I was really that
the sustained push combo. But I mean, it's understandable because if you have that Necro like with Ursa combo, the burst potentially is so high. Obviously, Ursa with Overpower will almost always get a few hits off before you can disable him. And then if you can just have the Reaper side follow up, it doesn't matter if you disable the Ursa. But they're going to go back for the Zeus.
And because it's TOONZ REBORN. But say, because it's TOONZ REBORN, it might just be the 4 Zeus. Not even the mid.
Yeah. Well, I was talking about the ability of Treant Protector to bolster the Centaur in lane just through sheer damage output, and Zeus is sort of the same way. Obviously, you don't have the durability of the Treant, but you do add a bit of range, and the ability to do instant burst damage is very strong in Shadow Demon, because of course he has Disruption in his kit, so if you have any skill that requires a setup or any sort of damage over time spell even, Shadow Demon can help to alleviate the pressure of that on the Ursa by being ready with a defensive Q. But there's no real way to counteract Zeus's damage with the Disruption. He'll just wait until you come out of the bubble and then Lightning Bolt you.
Fair enough. I haven't heard of a better strategy yet, but we are looking for the third pick here from FFYV2, and we're just going to go straight into it. It's a Mirana, so we've got the setup, we've got the damage, so these three heroes are looking pretty nice from FFYV2 here.
Yeah, this is a classic Mirana combination with the Shadow Demon. We've seen some Mirana picks where the teams have less reliable ways to set up the arrow. And look, the hero is very, very flexible and mostly depends on players' skill and comfort. She can do so much around the map in the early levels, the mobility from Leap, especially now that courier sniping is so much more a part of the game than it once was. That being said, it's going to be interesting how these lanes end up lining up. If you do want to take advantage of the Shadow Demon Q into Mirana arrow combo, you kind of need to either be picking a solo offlaner, or you need to be, permanently setting up a tri-lane. It depends whether she's roaming or not. Does the enemy team allow you to? Do they create lanes that are good against that? Spectre is maybe not the choice I'd pick into an aggressive tri-lane, but,
It seems like they're just thinking that you're the same thinking, that the offlane is going to be left solo there, so they can maybe go a little bit more greedy in their carry to secure it. But really, is it even a good Spectre game? I believe if Ursa has his timing, Spectre isn't going to have a Radiance and then could probably just get run all over.
I think the first three heroes that TOONZ have are kind of robust enough in their early game. Like it's very hard to create an early game where Witch Doctor, Zeus, and Centaur aren't potent. The Centaur could do with getting a blink, but other than that, those heroes just kind of go with their spells in the mid game, and that means that I think you've got the buffer that you want for your Spectre. You're not assuming you're going to totally lose 3 lanes, and if you do, it probably doesn't matter what carry you pick into the Ursa, right? Although this Brewmaster, I was thinking the Spectre Witch Doctor lane would probably be good enough against any sort of solo offlaner, but have you seen this hero in lane recently?
Actually, no. The man hasn't been picked up basically ever in this season at all. He's just been ignored.
Well, I don't know. It's certainly a comfort hero that players need to practice on. Obviously, the ult takes some finessing. The hero has had multiple skills reworked over, the recent history of Dota 2 the last couple of years, and so now it's kind of a different beast. But certainly looks like a great offlaner in this kind of meta, especially if you want to control team fights. Obviously, you want to slow and stun heroes for the Ursa, and few heroes output reliable control like Brewmaster. Assuming you do well in the lane, the power spike that comes when you hit that ultimate is basically irresistible from the sheer power of the Brewlings. And now the laning phase is stronger than ever with the addition of the new Drunken Haze. I'm not sure what it's exactly called right now, Dragon's Brew, but the beer W is so strong.
Yeah, gets everybody drunk. It burns down, and I guess they do have a good combination with the Star Falls, since it's just a little bit of magic damage to actually proc it these days, but
Shadow
it
Poison
seems like
as well.
Shadow Poison, a whole bunch of things to work with it. Actually, Void Spirit going, Ember Spirit. That would have been a nice pickup to go with the Brew Master as well. Would have been able to make those plays, but we're going to actually see what the mid laner is for FFYV2. You've seen the Brew, you've seen the Ursa, so we've got the damage, we've got the team fight. What are we missing? Maybe a little bit of burst to go on top. Any heroes that really just fit the mold?
I might want a little bit more control or a little bit more initiation, so perhaps a Kunkka would be good. Then you have a very, very tanky lineup. Obviously, strength heroes, you're a little bit suspect against the Zeus's percentage damage, the Witch Doctor's scaling damage, even the Spectre in the late game. But in the mid game, I don't think you're too worried, and having a beefy frontline is going to be better than having a paper team against Zeus. So you could go with that. Alternatively, something like Puck might be good. Even the Pangolier, if you're comfortable with mid Pangolier. I like the idea of having a really strong frontline so that your Mirana and Shadow Demon can position as they would like behind those heroes, because they are somewhat position dependent.
Fair enough. We'll see what they go for. They've got 58 seconds to go for every single hero here. Is there a potential for maybe just a Viper to just break everybody down and just have a one really... Actually, don't worry about it. It's going to be an Invoker. They're going for the team fights. They're going for the plays. A big pickup from FFYV2 here.
Yeah, I would have liked the idea of Viper. It's always a pretty safe pick against Spectre being now probably the most reliable source of break in the game, but they decide that they can invalidate that Spectre just with the timing, and then mid-game push around this Brew is going to be crazy. We've gone back to an old combo here. The Brewmaster Invoker tower pushing duo. So for those who don't know, the Brewmaster, when he splits into his 3 different pandas, the Earth Panda does bonus damage to buildings and also is magic immune, but that is enemy magic. You can cast Alacrity on the pandas, and that makes it hit the tower like an absolute truck. I don't know if it ever got nerfed at some point, but for a while there, some of the best teams in the world were getting laid low to random underdogs because this combo was so hard to reckon with if it hit you at the right time, and we'll see what TOONZ can do.
If I remember correctly, LGZ were the ones to debut it, and it was insane. No team knew how to just deal with this thing. They didn't even know the interaction was there, and it just destroyed so many games. So if FF5v2 have been doing their homework, been going back to, you know, through history of Dota, seeing all the old players, maybe they're going to surprise TOONZ REBORN here, but 15 seconds, they're really thinking about their response here. They've got Spectre for the late, they've got some good burst damage, they've got the Invoker mid. What's going to be? Actually, 6 seconds. We don't even have time to think about it.
Maybe you go for something like an OD, or you go for maybe like a Scarab. I don't know, you want some sort of silence or control, but they go for the Razor. Okay. Well, that's a strong counter pick to the Ursa, so now, what are their lanes going to look like? Okay, they're putting ESPX on the Centaur, which is their off lane probably. Do they think this is an off lane Ursa? Because surely you want to line up the Razor against the Ursa. Or is this...
It's a full Zeus.
It's a bit Razor, okay.
Yeah. So Invoker versus a Razor. It seems to be fairly... it seems more passive than most matchups, but I'm sure Razor is dominant, maybe.
Is it Razor versus Invoker, though? Or is this support Invoker?
Ooh, we'll find out, but what are you thinking here? Who's got the draft? Who's got the game one?
I quite like FF5v2's draft. I think their timing is going to be very, very strong. And a problem with these timing drafts, obviously, is you do need your team to kind of be in sync, which we've seen some teams struggle with, but not FF5v2. Last week, they looked so disciplined and so aware of their broader strategy. All of their players worked really, really well, just doing their job. And ironically, that's kind of been the weakness for TOONZ, despite some of their players being individually strong. So this is going to be a real clash. I don't hate the TOONZ draft. I don't think this is a real failure from them, but I do think they're going to be vulnerable because FF5v2 have sort of the stronger, earlier timing. They have to survive FF5v2's draft before they can really implement their own.
Okay, that's kind of a scary sentiment to start this game on survival. Survival through the laning stage, which is all possible, but this is game one of a best of two between these two teams. TOONZ REBORN looking to put some points on the board, take them away from FF5v2, who are sharing the position 1 on our leaderboard here in the season. So these games are all vitally important, especially if FF5v2 are proven to be the top team in the series going for the grand finals. These games are important to take off them if you can.
Absolutely, and of course, thanks to all of our sponsors here in the LPL Pro League, including Conquer, our monitor sponsor, who are making sure that all of our players and all our casters are able to see the games with crystal clarity in order to bring them to you. Thank you very much.
Well, always like to thank our sponsors, bringing us these great games, making it possible for us to make these... this production level as it is, because it looked fantastic, and even these lanes, they're looking pretty fantastic too. Witch Doctor Spectre. It seems like Spectre's going to have a fun time. Witch Doctor's one of those heroes that does a surprising amount of damage, and you can build him either way you want. You can put a point in Voodoo Restoration to just keep Spectre alive, or you can go aggressive with the cask.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Witch Doctor's stun is slightly weaker in most situations than some of the other babysitting supports, but the ability to skill into Voodoo Restoration or Maledict as needed does mean he's just right up there in the top tier of babysitters. You are also going to be against that solo Brewmaster, so less pressure than usual. The Brew has to be very respectful of that Maledict early game. It's going to hopefully create some space for this Spectre, but I wonder, it depends how much will Mirana be able to rotate. Is she sort of just going to be occupying this bottom jungle area, arrowing creeps and going for ganks with the Shadow Demon of Bee Hunter, or is she actually going to make her way around the entire map?
I guess we'll find out as runes are coming up here. Razor is going to be comfortably taking his. Okay, he's walking away. Zeus has got it. In fact, there's going to be basically no fighting, except Brewmaster's going to be manning up against the Spectre and the Witch Doctor. So we'll see if he can actually slip through that one. But no, it's going to be Shadow Demon taking the bottom one. It is going to be Witch Doctor slipping in and taking the top. In fact, they're chasing down the Brewmaster himself as he goes down to his high ground, half HP. Gonna be alive. Mirana's already missing. The game's just beginning, but the runes already taken. So one to start. Actually, no, sorry, my bad. 2 apiece. It's even between them, so game isn't too crazy. Less than a 1k goal lead while Joso chases that Brewmaster around.
Yeah, I love the willingness of the Witch Doctor to just go out of his way and really hound this Brewmaster. Your experience doesn't matter, his definitely does. So this is a great opportunity to get in some early game damage, obviously. Now with Couriers being able to come out to the lanes, it doesn't mean as much as it used to, but these are the very early levels, everything's important.
And actually in very early levels, we've got a tri-lane in the bottom lane. Shadow Demon's going to find himself Zeus, but they're manning up between center and Earth. In fact, they're pinging up the center. They've got 3 with the surprise, but the tree's going to be there. And Brewmaster, he's still hiding in between the trees, fighting the Witch Doctor, but the real fight's in the bottom lane where they take the first blood. Massaway gets it, puts Centaur down and 10 seconds away from him, but the first blood goes straight into the Ursa.
Yeah, some classic Oz Dota tri-lane action. I mean, you put a lot of eggs in one basket, it has to pay off, and thankfully they do get that early kill. I don't expect Marana will remain here for long, but I mean, in these early levels, if you are getting arrow kills, then why not, right? And it's a very easy setup as they get another arrow perhaps off that disruption. Moop's dropping low.
Moop's being taken down. He has no regen, so he's got to stand really far back. So it seems like a very strong tri-lane situation here, but is this overall worth it for FFYV2? Two other lanes probably being more sacrifice than other to dedicate to the Ursa. Is this the way you would want to play it?
I mean, this is only the beginning, right? We already see the Marana beginning to rotate. She's going to move through the jungle. She can arrow large creeps to keep up on golden XP, as well as threaten to gank the Razor mid, right? So they've last picked this Razor to try and dominate the mid lane matchup, but all that goes out the window if you get hit by a tornado into arrow, for instance. So, you know, she's able to actually turn multiple lanes, and that's ultimately what will judge whether this pick was effective.
That is true. Sick combinations will do some big plays here, but Carol Baskin just focused on farm here, just having a nice little time. Brewmaster's not really being kept back. Joto's keeping the pressure on. Boops entering the bottom lane again to maybe blast down Ursa Cable Towers, but these lanes, they seem kind of static here. Everyone is farming comfortably. The Brewmaster, surprisingly enough, for a solo laner, isn't being shut down, and Marana is coming up to support him now, so he should be having a pretty comfortable time.
Yeah, well, I mean, Witch Doctor, we talked about how Witch Doctor is a strong laner even against the Brew, and how the Brew alone couldn't do as much, but unfortunately that's just the reality of having a Spectre lane, right? Like, the Spectre doesn't actually contribute a lot, especially offensively. Has that dagger, which is an okay nuke and slow, but doesn't really want to cast it too much offensively. She doesn't need it as an escape tool. She doesn't have tremendous mana. So that means it's pretty much just the Witch Doctor, especially since his Maledict and cast don't really do a lot of damage. They're more for setting up damage from your team if you all-in commit on a fight. And since the Brewmaster actually does do a lot of damage with his spells, we imagine that the Witch Doctor has to be kind of respectful and just trade gently. Let him in the lane. You can't zone him as hard as you'd like.
Well, actually, a classic we haven't been seeing for a while. Mid lane, the Invoke actually hold that forward because we've got a disruption going bottom with what combination? It's actually going to be the Ursa jumping over the Sentinel to try and get the Zeus. But Zeus, he's walking the other way. He's going to try to hide between the trees, but the Hoofstomp is going to be keeping Ursa back for now. Can Zeus even get out of here? Going to be blasting down the Ursa. I think he knows he's dead. In fact, no, he's going to be TPing, so there's no disruption to actually dance on. And ESPX, he's getting slapped down hard. Behind the tower, moves is there with Cell coming out. He might be able to blast him, but no, they're going to be sacrificing the Sentinel to save the Zeus. So ESPX, he sacrifices his life to save the position forward. Gets kicked out again. It gives Ursa another kill. You do not want that, but then again, you want the kill on the Spec. Spec falling down to combination Marana and Brewmaster in the top, so the kills are coming for FFYV2. Oh, maybe not.
Yeah,
arrow's perfectly timed. Johto, he gets hit. He's running. Do you chase it? No, these arrows are on point.
Yeah, a little bit awkward there at bottom lane. You can sort of see how this Centaur Zeus lane is meant to line up, but unfortunately Zeus's damage output over the course of one all-in fight isn't actually that high as the SD. It's more about safe, guaranteed harassment over time with those, point-and-click lightning bolts. And we see how, especially given that just that one early kill from Marana has really disadvantaged them, because it took a while for ESPX to actually skill his hoof stomp, and only now is he able to contribute to the lane. The Witch Doctor and the Ursa's already a level ahead.
Well, they're trying. They're hitting both of them. They got Ursa pretty down low, but Ursa himself, so he should be fine. Everything's all good. So the lanes aren't too pressured, but the mid lane looks like Invoke is actually getting pressed by the Razor, but everything is pretty stable. The Brewmaster, the Invoker, a little bit behind, but the gold lead isn't too bad. It's less than 1k gold lead to FFYV2, but it's pretty even between these two teams overall.
Yeah, the fact that the Spectre is third on net worth and only, a couple of hundred gold behind the Ursa, I think means that TOONZ are happy with how this is going. Their lane's definitely weaker.
Bottom lane though, they've found Centaur again with another disruption. Ursa's running, he's going to be blasted, but he jumps right on over it to get another kill. The poison takes, the runes are going to be taken by Moops, but another death on the Centaur. Make it 3. This guy is just getting kicked out constantly. He's getting a little bit of gold, but it is now starting to hurt.
I mean, we mentioned when the Shadow Demon was picked up first that it was in a powerful counter to heroes like Centaur, and then they picked Centaur into SD Ursa, a lane that destroys this kind of hero. The Zeus does do some damage, but as long as Ursa keeps ferrying regen, that's all Zeus does, right, is damage, and a tiny mini stun. When you compare that to the slow from the SD, and even the Ursa's own ability with the Earth Shock to close the gap and slow the Centaur, there's no real way that he can prevent the kill unless he's able to burst the Ursa from full, and he just doesn't have the damage for that.
That is true. It seems like, yeah, it's a comfortable place here. Who are you more comfortable with being at this situation? The lanes aren't crumbling for TOONZ Reborn. In fact, they're just diving, trying to cut the wave. In fact, Kess is TPing down bottom as well. They do get a hoof stomp, but what can you follow through? Ursa's half HP. Well, with the 3, you've got the Aaron back, can be dodged between them. Ursa's going to be running back to safety, trying to take out the Shadow Demon, but Disruption's going to save him again. Zeus, can you finish off anybody? We've got the Cell coming back onto this Ursa, so he's just running back for more. Arrows are flying, nobody is dying, and with a Sunstrike, it's off the mark. Can't finish him off. Move's going to be taken out by Massaway. Just cut on down, but this Centaur is trapped in with creeps. More poison coming to Cold Stamps going. Invoker made his way down bottom just to get this kill. And a double kill in the end. The rotations were big, but that double kill seems worth it.
Yeah, I guess it's questionable. It seems like they maybe could have gotten that double kill even without the rotation of Boo1's Invoker, but I mean, he came down, at least he got the kills for it. Spectre's still farming though, Razor's still farming though, so to a degree, ESPX can die and die and die, and at this point, we're already saying, okay, he's not carrying this game, but he wasn't meant to as the third pos Centaur. I wouldn't mind seeing the Centaur kind of drop back to the jungle at this point. Like, it's very clear that Ursa has the run of this lane, and by going back there now, you're pretty much just going to keep feeding kills. I don't think there's a way that you can turn it around here. So maybe just leave the Zeus there to soak XP. He can zap the creeps at very long range. He's going to make sure your tower doesn't fall down, and you wouldn't mind getting XP on the Zeus. Centaur can jungle plenty well with Return and his other spells, so maybe that's going to be the good option, so long as they can not lose half of the map as a result.
Fair enough. But the one thing that's kind of been, you know, a staple of TOONZ Reborn in the past few weeks here is Gachi does tend to farm on his mid-heroes quite a bit. In fact, he's been farming the entire time on the Razor, not even forcing to a rotation. Do you think his team is hurting because of this, or is it fine to be farming up this Yule Scepter?
I mean, definitely not as much as it did in the past, right? Like, we remember in week 1, we saw him play a Lina, where he was the rotating hero. He was the only hero on his team doing well. He built ganking items, he's playing a ganking hero, and then he farmed. He didn't gank. And that cost them the game, I would argue. Or definitely cost them whatever chance they had. This time, they put him on a Razor. Like, if your mid laner doesn't like to rotate, if that's not his playstyle, good, put him on this hero. This is the hero that wants to sit in lane, win the lane, and farm, right? Like, they're definitely losing out in bottom lane, but this is the lane you chose to sack. The other 2 lanes going fine.
Down 5 deaths. Under the tower, Massaway doesn't care. He gets another double kill. We're dominating on this Ursa to Zeus and Centaur. Every single time they do enter the lane, they get kicked the hell out. So, okay, your TOONZ Reborn here. Your bottom lane is kind of falling apart as pieces. What is the play you need to make to kind of get a foothold back into the game? Okay. Any other thing you can do on top of that? Anything more active? Because they found Invoker in the mid lane.
Well, I mean, if they can get this kill, that's not good, but it's all the Haunt.
That's a big kill. If they get it, he's going to try and TP out, but no, he's going to pop with the arrow in the back of Johto. Okay, no follow through on that, but the Invoker killed there. There's a rotation. There's a thing. Do they just need to keep making these rotations?
That's a great rotation, but you can only do that like once every couple of minutes, right? Like the Haunt on cooldown is not short, and really good idea to use the Haunt proactively and to be ganking another lane with a couple of heroes so the Spectre can't haunt him. Oh, no. That's really optimal play.
He's just running everybody down by himself. He doesn't even care. Shadow Demon's not even in the area. He's pulling the waves himself, getting a little bit XP. But top at the same point in time, Brewmaster, he's been caught. He's got the Melody, but the man's got ult. He does not die, but Johto certainly can. 2 hits and he's cut in half. Did not even use the ult. He wasn't even feeling it. He just walks on back like a champ.
You cannot mess with this Brewmaster. All 3 of his skills are insane in the early game, especially when dealing with 4 hit point supports. As we see another commitment by the Ursa under the tower.
Yep. Oh no, move. Come on, move. You can save this. Yep, you've got damage. No, he is going. Johto's coming, but he won't be there fast enough. More kills for Massaway. Oh, it is a massive kill. Mid lane though. Arrow combination with your Tornado. You called it. You got it. And Gachi felt it. Another kill for FF1v2.
I'm deadly serious. Like, you do not have to keep going back to this lane with your Centaur hero, right? There is a whole jungle in Dota 2. You can go farm that. Just put wards up, right? Okay, obviously, if you abandon this bottom lane, they're going to start rotating. But the Ursa's their one position. He has to keep farming. He does not have his items yet, right? Let him have the lane since he already has it. And just stop feeding him extra kills. Go nuke some jungle camps. Stack them up. Have your Zeus stand in the lane, maybe. Have him nuke the way back out to make sure that heroes have to be there. It's really not that complicated. I'm surprised they're not making the adjustment, even though it's not game losing yet.
Well, I guess we got to try and hold down. 12-1 isn't the score you want to be seeing at 10 minutes. A 3k gold lead is probably not feeling too comfortable either, but Brewmaster, he's farming up. Carol, it's been farming quite well in the top lane comparatively. 48 last hits, top of the last hits for TOONZ Reborn so far, and that's probably what you want to see at least on a Spectre. The other lanes going pretty good too. Razor 16-19 is farming up by himself. Invoker's keeping the pressure on, but it's not falling apart completely here. Are they just playing towards the late game? They're not feeling too pressured with the Spectre on their side?
I mean, they picked a Spectre, so by default, you are playing towards the late game to some degree, right? This is not some crazy early game Spectre build. This is a rotation I don't especially like. They've pulled the Witch Doctor out of the Spectre's lane, and you saw, we watched a whole creep wave she couldn't hit because the Brew was just zoning her. Now they have 4 heroes bottom, but what do they really intend to do by going on Massaway, who's the FFYV2 team's strongest hero right now? Surely you just want to protect your Spectre, not try and redeem the Centaur's lane. He's going to get his Blink Dagger eventually. He's got his level 6 now, like, he's fine.
Yeah,
I don't think you need to commit more resources to a losing lane.
Fair enough. In fact, it might be losing again. Hook's on coming, moves in the area. Maybe they've got enough magical damage to pop him down, but he's getting low. He's got his Enrage coming out. They've got a Stampede debate it. Blue Brewmaster at the same time, taking the opportunity to go for the top tower, but it's the bottom lane where it's at, and Mook puts him down. Ursa is finally dead. Chestnut makes the rotation bottom to try and chase down, but he can't cancel any TPs, so Zeus just TPs out in front of him. So Chestnut's rotation is empty. They get the big dog himself. The bear is put down, and the gold goes straight to TOONZ Reborn.
Yeah, well, that was finally their chance to go on the Ursa like that because he was completely alone. They do have that good Dire ward, making sure there's no support right there in the jungle nearby, and they finally had the Centaur ultimate, right? Like I told you, he's going to scale eventually. And I'm a little bit surprised that Massaway got baited there. I guess after so many kills, you feel like you can consistently outplay these guys, but you have to respect TOONZ Reborn, and that time they pulled it off.
Invis Witch Doctor standing beside the Brewmaster. Something's about to happen there, Invoker feeling comfortable, has some mind. It's got a very classic build. He's going Cross Exalt. We literally haven't seen that for ages, but stop playing it. It's Ursa running down his back. Well, the fact goes on to go down to the bottom lane where they're going on the Brewmaster. Already down the half page, full damage coming up. He can't pop his ult, so he is going out of here. And TOONZ Reborn are making the rotations. Ursa didn't get a kill. Spec has space in the bottom lane. Hey, maybe you sacrifice your top tier 1 for that, but you aren't losing any kills. You're getting kills and you're getting space for your cause.
Yeah, exactly. This is what I mean when I say that I see potential in TOONZ Reborn, even though they haven't had the best run in this season so far. Like, that Horn rotation, that's 2 now in a row that they've really actively, proactively used the early game Horn, which not a lot of teams do, and it's great for your Spectre. She gets killing Horn for money. This is actually accelerating her farm, as well as getting her out of a somewhat sticky situation on the with the Ursa at top, which was more of a happy coincidence. But if she keeps going like this, she's going to get her Radiance on time, and that is exactly what you want, because FFYV2, all 3 of their cores are building to scale into the late game, right? So Spectre needs to be
rotation. They've got the ult coming up. The split is there. The Centaur will be caught. Everybody else runs out for Stampede. Disruption a little bit off the mark. Holds the Centaur there for now, but he's definitely dead. Holds as soon as he comes on out. But the 1 kill for no others. I guess you get the Courier as well, but everybody went bottom for this Sunstrike. Is okay. It's just good. It's the Witch Doctor. He barely has any HP as it is. So you land a Sunstrike on him, it's definitely going to be a double kill. So 2 kills out of this. Killing spree is coming back. At least FFYV2, they're still controlling the game. They're not letting TOONZ Reborn go unanswered with their plays.
Yeah, and what I worry about for TOONZ is that the Spectre had an okay start in lane, and at that point I figured the laning trades were acceptable. But now that the Witch Doctor started to move around the map, they are getting her in on the Haunt kills, but they are not securing the Spectre's farm. And look at the Radiant wards in the Dire jungle that have suddenly sprung up. They have taken the map away from Carol Baskin on this Spectre, and now they threaten a gank.
Dire's top
But even without that kill, like, her farm is curtailed.
Well, yeah, it seems like it's just been cut in half. In fact, it's 2,000 less than the Ursa. Centaur Storm coming out, holding him down. That's the Helm Donor paying off indefinitely, but 4 heroes already scouted from TOONZ Reborn. They know where it's at. The Bounty Rune's coming out from shovels, so everything is really just coming out for FFYV2, at least for the start. But they're there. They've got to cast a little bit of damage on top with Disruption. Okay, ult's going to be there, but the Disruption should be able to save for now. We'll see if he pops after, but your tower's defended, and Invoker's taking the opportunity to push in this mid lane, which forces Gucci back, and maybe the number advantage means that FFYV2 can take the bottom fight. We'll see if the pressure comes in, but the runes are going to be up, so maybe that's more important. We'll see what's going. Chestnut's going on in, trying to go for Zeus. The arrow is off the mark. It's between everybody, but it's all has big melt. It misses absolutely everybody except for Chestnut, who doesn't even care. He's got Centaur helping him, just running down the Centaur. So Centaur on Centination. It's a bloodbath, but looks on. Sunstrike off the mark, running forward, trying to chase him down, getting the scouts, and Invoker's actually found him again. They're beelining for it. They know where it is. They drew on the map exactly where he is, but the Stampede's going to be there. Poison Disruption to save to cancel that Stampede. He'll be back, but can he survive? Arrow's coming. It misses again, but this man is dead, but that is space if I've ever seen it.
Yeah, and look, you can argue that with Doctor and Centaur have accepted their roles as the space creation heroes, and there's some truth to that their deaths are less valuable than deaths of Spectre and Razor, but there comes a point where you ask how necessary it is. Did you really need to take a fight at the enemy tier 1 without your Zeus ultimate, without your Haunt, without your Stampede, you know?
It didn't seem necessary, especially since the runes were up. You know, you had a split attention pan there. Gachi was focusing on the runes and farming up a little bit more, so he wasn't coming for the fight, and even if you took it, it would have been bad because Split was there, Invoker was ready to TP, and you didn't have a TP point yourself just as quick, so maybe we need to slow down a little if we are TOONZ Reborn.
It's becoming, unfortunately, characteristic for this team that they just make some odd decisions once or twice a game, and unfortunately, they're very costly against strong opponents. If you take a random team fight like that without really checking your team is ready, you will get punished.
Well, maybe they can punch the Ursa out of this. A little bit of revenge. They've broken the smoke. They've seen the Ursa. Can they get the cars? Okay, Battlefield comes out, tops him. Yeah, okay, slows down the enrage there. Chestnut's TPing on in. It's only the one, but Ursa's absolutely going to be fine. The gank fails. The 4-man rotation ends up being nothing, except for a little bit of space to Spectre, but Spectre is still 2,000 gold away from the other two cores. One of them has a Midas as well. This Invoker picked up the classic thing, so his gold is still going to be just constantly building, and he's having a fight, man. He's got boots to travel. They can take it if they want. They've got Cinderbrew coming in. They can see them taking the outpost. In fact, Razor's going to be found for it. They're actually going to get damage aimed. You'll have to keep him in place, but he can go in biz. He's got Tornado. Just that's aim. Cold Snap and Tornado are going to be used perfectly, but the damage is going to be able to melt. He cannot survive that. The combos are big, but they will be sacrificing moves, but that is the Invoker for the Zeus. You'll take that trade any day. Can they get any more? Arrows are going to be waiting, and they've got Split coming in just to find Joseph supports, but Gachi is chasing everybody down. No more leads left on the man. In fact, the Stampede to chase down Morana. The arrow is actually going to not save his life. Kess is gone, sacrificed to the Centaur. Johto survives. TOONZ Reborn, they're taking a pretty favorable fight. Ursa, he was thinking about Jonas' fight, but he's gone back the other way. In fact, he's going straight for Razor, doing a little damage with the Enrage. In fact, Shadow Demon should be enough to help him out. He does get the Fairy Fire to show more damage, but it's not going to be enough to the half HP. Ursa maybe can take advantage of. No, they want the Shadow Demon instead. The Centaur might come in for a nice little stomp to go straight for the Spec, but does Ursa jump on in? He's got no damage, but he's got the Fury Swipes to add on up. It might take a while, but it will work. But Spectre is still running himself into a Sunstrike, but it was too late. It didn't go, but then Ursa finished him off anyway. Moves finally coming here to put down this bear, but can he even do it? No. Tornado's going to be there, but it made it. The Invoker's here to save the day. The Invis Rune, spawned by Gaben, keeps the bear alive. In fact, the Invoker's cleaning up the help of Chestnut, cleaning up the Centaur, cleaning up the Shadow Demon, turning that fight the other way.
Yeah, that's, I think that entire team fight, especially the second half of it, can be summed up as how different Ursa is now with the rework to Earthshock, the Q. That ability to just leap a little bit forward on like a 6-second cooldown makes such a difference to the hero. The old Ursa would have been destroyed by that Razor static link, just wandering away, but now you have the ability to close gaps so consistently and so quickly that these heroes like Spectre and Razor that rely on dragging out fights and winning a kind of an attrition battle don't have time to come into effect. The Ursa just stays on them, guns them down with that stacking Fury Swipes damage, and that's what won them that team fight there after kind of a botch from the Invoker gave TOONZ Reborn the exact fight they were looking for and kind of failed to get them for. Now they're just mopping up.
Yeah, they're never failing to get Joe, so wherever he's on the map, that arrow is coming for him. Seems to be just a clean pickup for the side of FF5v2. They're feeling pretty comfortable in stealth. They're going to blink down on Brewmaster. Kess is just running around with his Centaur setup just to make those arrows work. Everything's going basically perfectly. You've got a few good finds coming out from TOONZ Reborn. You've got some space for Spectre, but do they need to be more proactive? Do they need to make any changes to really stop this snowball? Because it's an 11k gold lead right now. It's 21-7, and we're just hitting the 20-minute mark.
Their team, it's not like catastrophic, right? We've seen teams fall behind by 1k gold per minute lead per minute. And that's like not... That's probably the game over threshold. This is half of that, but it still feels so bad because of the relative strength of the heroes. And Johto cannot catch a break, although he was asking for that, standing on top of the shrine, capping it by himself.
Yeah, sacrificing his life to the cause of XP for Spectre, who's getting it. In fact, XP for the Razor as well, of 13, not doing too bad himself. The two cores basically neck and neck at about 70,000 gold each, but then you look at the other cores on the side of F1v2. Brewmaster's got 7k, they got themselves another kill to the Invoker, who's about to break 10, and the Ursa, who's got the Battle Fury, is about 11k gold lead, almost 5,000 ahead of the Spectre. Maybe you get a kill on the Shadow Demon. No, the CP's out in front of your face. Okay, you'll step to just in time. You get to pick off the Shadow Demon. But then again, it is literally just the Shadow Demon. Have your 238 gold I'm pretty sure FFYV2 are happy about it as they just push this mid tower.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a fine kill to get. You'll have to get a little bit of extra gold on your Razor, especially since, unfortunately, your cores do not farm as well as the enemy cores, particularly the Spectre, but yeah, you could get a more valuable gank, that's for certain. And I do worry that it's not just about the gold lead, like how much gold TOONZ are behind, but the relative ability of these heroes to catch up, right? Like the faster farmers and the faster game closers are definitely on the side of FFY. The Spectre takes longer to close that gap in terms of farm, and she needs to get a higher total net worth to really reach her peak effectiveness. So whereas 14k gold lead might not be as much as we've seen in other games, it's massive in this context.
What's massive right now is Roche being taken, and they want to take the fight. Haunts coming in just to see, doesn't get it. No, he can't. In fact, he just goes into his own death. No, he haunts to a different hero, but I don't. Okay, he's haunting to safety. Don't just run on back. They've already lost the Aegis. Okay. He just came in to say hey, still the Aegis. Didn't work out. He got out cleanly, so not too bad overall. But then again, Haunt is down now. Maybe that's an opportunity to push these towers.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look, I don't dispute the Haunt there. That is like the highest value play you can make with a skill right now. If you steal that Aegis, it's game changing. But FFYV2 are right on top of it. This team are very tight, honestly. They make a very small number of mistakes, and in low value areas, they don't miss that kind of stuff, it seems like. And now that they have the Aegis, they're in a real threat to end the game in the next 5 minutes.
Mm-hmm. They figured about threats. 15k gold lead. Everybody just hugging their tier 2s for dear life. Only one hero is farming, but 5 heroes are smoking. Come defend this tier 2. They see the Ursa, they see the Brewmaster. Invoker is in the bottom lane. Maybe this is an opportunity to split up an Invoker. Is TPing mid. Okay, you found yourself shut it in. You've lost one hero, but it's support. 35 seconds doesn't buy back. In fact, instantly buys back to come back to your tier 1 in the mid. Ursa charging forward, going back for Gachi. Getting all the damage drain, but I don't think he really cares. The Fury starts to come. Moves can't even save him. Sentinel can't even save him. So they're just cleaning up. The split is splitting them, and Johto with the Sunstrike right on top of his face. He is not looking to survive. Spectre does not even want any of this fight. And now it's just FFYV2 charging forward. That Earth Panda is about to crush this tower.
Dire's middle tower.
This team, FFYV2, are so solid, so confident. I'm getting stronger and stronger on them just watching them play with each minute. In that fight, you know, killing the Shadow Demon's not bad to start with because anyone else you go on, he's going to save, but he immediately buys back. They know that they have the advantage to press here, so they feel no doubt about committing that buyback, and then they just take the fight effortlessly. Hunting down the Witch Doctor, who is channeling his ultimate in good position, just cycloning him with the Air Panda. They're doing everything right.
Yeah, they are on point, and right now defense needs to be on point from TOONZ. REBORN. In fact, Chess jumps in, takes a cast to the face, but he don't have enough damage to kill him because oh no, Split is down. You can actually pop the Panda. The Panda's going to be going, but you're going to be trading Gachi again. He TP'd too far forward, and Ursa just jumped onto it. EXPX going to be clapped on down as well. Masquay is just making a massacre of TOONZ. REBORN right now. Spectre came in with his Radiance, but it doesn't even mean anything. He's just trying to walk on back to the base, takes an arrow to the back of the head, and he's just walking on back to safety. I believe Witch Doctor's hugging him just for the Sunstrike, just to make sure he doesn't even die from it. Okay, he survives, but your towers are gone, your heroes are crumbling, your buybacks aren't even there, and it's now a 19k gold lead. You're 28-10. I don't even think they have many options left to take back this game.
No, I mean, look, their win percentage has probably inevitably gone down in the last 30 seconds, but I would still argue that's a good defense. It could have gone a lot worse. They lost a couple of heroes, but they killed a couple of heroes. They took the Ursus Aegis away. The Spectre flirted with death, as you say, getting hit by some of those skill shots, but dodged the Sunstrike and did make it back to the Fountain. So that Radiance coming in at what turns out to be the last possible second for it to be effective, and they only lose 1 Rax, like half a lane. So they're technically still in the game, but all those things I said before about their difficulty in catching up still apply. If they couldn't make space for their Spectre 10 minutes ago, it's going to be very difficult to make space for the Spectre now.
It seemed like Johto, don't show yourself in the oh no, my man. You've got to hit a creeper. Now everybody hits you. Okay, Horn's coming in. BKB is popped. 10-second BKB for a Witch Doctor. Maybe you make that trade, but the back lane, we're still taking the fight. Shadow Demon's going to be caught out by the Spectre. Support for support play here. Every kill is now officially worth it. Zeusol just a scout out every single hero. You found the Brewmaster. Hooftop knocking him out. A blink with dagger. Dodge is perfectly timed by Chestnut. The arrow almost going to be perfectly on mark from the Mirana, but Tornado's keeping Spec in the air, pulls it on back. Chestnut's going to be here, full HP. Got to get split off. They're going to be taking the fight. Stampede's going to be trying to run away, but they actually spin up the Centaur to keep him in place. Oh, Johto seems like he's just a sacrifice at this point. Just sacrificing himself to maybe save the Spectre, but it's Morgan exactly where the Spectre's going. Maybe you want to go the other way. I don't think it matters anymore because he's just buying time. Oh, nice jukes. Nice jukes. But he won't be able to juke it now. Double kill for Chestnut. Spectre putting Zagdon in. Move's actually going to try to take fight. Push not going to be there. In fact, Sensor's doing damage, but Ursus joins this fight, and he's about to clean on up. Day 4 swipes. You've got yourself a Zeus. Maybe a couple more. You've got yourself a Spectre, but he is hunted. He's got the overpower. He's got the charge. He's got the Battle Fury with the arrow on top. Test steals it from him. Oh man, this is looking like Game 4 dead. 2 buybacks, and now they're charging back up the mid lane.
Yeah, it's just a huge mismatch in terms of items right now. Like we said, the Spectre got some fun, but I think the game, TOONZ Reborn's hopes started to fall along with the Spectre's GPM in the mid-game once the lanes broke up, and I'm sure we'll talk about it a bit more after the game, but right now you can just see the item difference. Ursa has double the Spectre's net worth and would already be a tough matchup for her at this stage in the game. She really wanted things to go another half an hour, and at that point, you know, you can compare notes and items, but right now the Fury swipes is still such a factor, and the Spectre's health pool is not big enough to survive.
3-5-5 on the Razor. He has a dual scepter and a drums and a dust. Currently, the Ursa is thinking about picking up a rapier. Just casually thinking up a rapier. That kind of speaks mountains about how this game is going.
Yeah, exactly. It shows you FF5v2's confidence, right? And I would not say it's misplaced. Even Rapier tier confidence right now. They are just toying with TOONZ Reborn, who are putting up a fight. Certainly, you can see that they're holding formation. You know, the right heroes die, so to speak. But
oh, Tornado. It's good. It's time. The caster's keeping him back, but how far can you keep this man back? He dodges the melody like a champ and gets on back to safety, so you don't get any kills. Hey, you get 200 gold gallon, but Chestnut jumps on in anyway. Masswise coming in with the Alacrity, and the Centaur is going to just survive. Okay, we've forced him in. Maybe we can take advantage of this. Moonlight Shadow's come down. Please say somebody's got dust. I believe Razor's got dust, but he's being kept back by the poison and the ice buff right now. Gachi going back. It looks like Chestnut's going in. Carol Baskin actually haunting around to get the safety deal to go on the backline. No, he's just jumping back between all the supports. Who's going to go for Chestnut in biz? Running on back. Maybe this is enough for TOONZ Reborn to finally take the fight in, but no, it was a bait the entire time. The BKB, that combo. They've got the Tornado, they've got the Meatball, they're serving TOONZ Reborn on a platter and taking game 1 in style.
See you later, nerds.
Massaway bringing up what looks like to be his favorite call from that chat wheel, the LD. See you later, nerds. And just banishes TOONZ Reborn into the abyss, at least until game 2. That's a decisive victory if I've ever seen one, GTH.
Yeah, I had one chance. I was like, okay, maybe they could take this fight. They're running back. It's a perfect opportunity, but it wasn't. It was completely planned out. FF5v2 knew exactly what they're doing, and Focus like, okay, I go in now. Perfect Tornado combination. Everybody's dead.
I don't think there's really any such thing as a perfect teamfight opportunity when you are that far behind on golden items and in the draft in general, but I give credit to TOONZ Reborn. I know I'm going to look silly keeping on saying this when they just took such a heavy loss, but they defended their base twice, really, and pretty much as well as they could have. It's just unfortunate that it took them until they're 25,000 gold down, trapped in their base, to really bust out those fights, and unfortunately, you have to keep that level of play consistent throughout the game.
And to be fair, there were some good signs from TOONZ Reborn in the early team fights. Maybe if they focus more on their laning stage, they could improve their overall game, because if you start off well, if you're hitting these last, 25 minutes, you're going to have a better chance in the mid-game, because that gold lead by the 10-minute mark was, about 3k, and then by 20 minutes, it turned out to be 12k.
Yeah, you can see it scales up only slowly in the cases of FF5v2, and if you allow a little bit of mental correction for the fact that their team is just stronger in the early game and they're going to get more farm overall out of the 3 different lanes, this is a really good graph to look at the individual net worth, because we can see up to and about the 10-minute mark, the cores from both sides are going kind of even. I mean, Massaway got a bit of a spike from just being fed all those kills, which was probably unnecessary, but as an Ursa, you're not necessarily super worried about his late game, and the Spectre was thereabouts with the Razor and the Invoker. The issue is just that after that point, I think they kind of blinked first, did TOONZ Reborn. They rotated their lanes away from the Spectre, and that ended up costing them very dearly over the next sort of 5 to 10 minutes. But, they'll have a chance to correct that in game 2.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to it, because the action is going to be big, and we'll see you after this short break. What an amazing dominant show from FF5v2. Last week wasn't a fluke. They brought it this week and absolutely demolished TOONZ Reborn. But it's game 2. It's a time to learn. What do we need to change?
I think, as usual, it's going to be the same thing from TOONZ. Just, sorry, just some prioritization and really understand your own draft and don't get intimidated. I think the early game was actually going fine for them there, and they were the team that kind of broke their lanes first and started moving around. And I think that when they changed things up, they actually got less than they were getting before.
That is true. And to be fair, for last week, FOI V2 were dominant with YGod, but this week, he wasn't actually playing the mid lane, but they were still just as dominant.
Yeah, I mean, when you've got a team of very, very highly skilled players, they all probably have experience in various positions. And we saw, Boo1 clearly has a bit of Invoker experience, was able to fill in there. Even though, Razor in the mid lane did do quite well, so maybe that's, the feeling the impact of YGod not being in the lineup. But certainly didn't hamper them enough to hurt their chances in winning the game because, wow, what a stomp.
Yeah, just absolutely perfect team play. The Invoker change, it just felt fine. It was just like he knew exactly what he needed to do on the team. But TOONZ Reborn, they had somewhat ideas, but the drafting seemed to have worked against them. Maybe if they can fix up those drafting issues, we'll see a better performance in Game 2.
I mean, it's possible. I don't think their draft has been terrible in any given week, but we have sometimes seen them fail to execute on those drafts the way it seems they're intended to. Again, like the ganking Lena in week 1 who didn't gank. Here we had the Spectre who they didn't secure farm for. They secured farm for her initially, but then they kind of abandoned her lane and she was left soloing first against the Brewmaster, then against the Ursa, ended up haunting out of that lane. And the Spectre is not ready to leave the cocoon of her safe lane yet, right? She still needs time to grow up. And, I don't think you would have really hurt you to leave the Witch Doctor there. You certainly didn't gain much by sending more heroes to the bottom lane to contest it. So, maybe there's a bit of that. Or perhaps you just don't draft that kind of late game, week early lineup. Like, they got the right heroes, I think, that they weren't going to completely collapse in the early game. But it's still hard, right? This is a patch where it's difficult to come back because of reduced comeback gold. So if you set up to lose your lanes, even if you've got a plan to come back later on, you are making it harder for yourself than the team that just picks winning lanes and an early timing.
So really just need to focus on those lanes there. But one of the things I was very interested to think about was the fact that Shadow Demon was first picked in a draft. That was straight up by FFYV2. And as a response, they picked the Witch Doctor. And generally, Shadow Demon's considered pretty good against the Witch Doctor. Are they drafting more to what they're comfortable playing rather than what they need in the game?
Yeah, it did kind of feel, as well as the Centaur into the Shadow Demon, did give you the feeling that they were making allowances for what their players are most comfortable on over what's truly optimal in the matchup, or maybe what they'd practiced rather than, a slightly different hero that has a better lane matchup. And that would be forgivable to some degree. In fact, it is. I would rather see players pick what they're good at, but you have to hope that, Centaur's a fairly generic hero. Maybe your offlaner could have pivoted to something that's not quite as rough in the lane. Although, I will say in the Centaur's favor, that Stampede was a great tool against the Brewmaster ult that they even employed correctly several times, right? Like, if you're against a spell that's overwhelming as that one in team fights, you hit that Stampede button and run out of the fight, and they were able to do that fairly consistently. So I don't think the pick was a total failure. I think the only mistake was maybe staying in that bottom lane too long. Whereas if you just leave the Ursa to farm, okay, he went Battle Fury. Yes, he is going to scale and be scary in the later game. But what did going back into that lane and dying over and over again and then sending 4 heroes to that lane and team fighting in that lane, what did that gain you, relative to just conceding? Yes.
Yeah. It seems like they need their priorities a little bit different. If they are falling back to the lanes, they probably need some more plan Bs, because their plan B was throw heroes at the problem rather than work their draft around. And the Razor seemed to be, he farmed a lot of items, and when he showed up for the fights, they really turned it. So is it about the power spikes like you're talking about? The Stampede, when it came up, when Sentinel got to Stampede, those team fights went way better. If Razor came as soon as he got Eye of the Storm, or maybe as soon as he got, say, the drums, maybe he could have a way bigger impact earlier, and that would have shut down Ursa a little bit harder.
Yeah, exactly. There's all sorts of small adjustments they could have made, but everything gets harder when you give the Ursa such a head start. And I think in general, TOONZ played their own heroes very well. They used the Stampede well. They used the Haunt well. They used the Razor's timings well. But they need to be a little bit better at adjusting that game plan mid-game based on what's happening. Okay, we're conceding a lot more kills than we probably hoped to in this bottom lane. Our Zeus Centaur lane kind of got stymied at the start by that Mirana, and we didn't pick it back up. So let's just drop that part, fall back to the jungle, get up wards, you know, concede a little bit of the map, and just make sure that they can't shut down our Spectre and our Razor who are farming.
Well, we're going to find out straight away because Game 2's already here, already in the drafting stage, and these bands are looking a little bit similar to last time. Maybe a few different carries than we saw last time, the Slark, the Ursa, and the Morphling being taken out by TOONZ REBORN, but the other side, it's Lycan, it's Quap, and I'm feeling like we're going to see another classic coming out too, so the game change isn't too much, but I do like the Ursa ban here just to keep FFY V2 away from a very comfortable and a very strong carry right now.
Yeah, absolutely. Ursa, arguably the best carrier in the game. I don't think any other one-position hero could have done what you saw Ursa do in those team fights, and I felt a little bit disgusted watching how well the Earth Shock was working at keeping the Ursa on these heroes when TOONZ were otherwise quite good at creating separation. So, you know, removing that hero that's already strong, also by removing it alongside the Slark, kind of opens that class of attrition offlaners back up again, right? Because between the Fury swipes and the S's shift, I would say that's like the number 1 and 2 counter to heroes like Centaur, like Axe, like Underlord that otherwise are quite strong currently. So by removing both of them, you know, last time you banned the Slark, but you picked the Centaur and got the Ursa. Just take them both out of the game, you feel a lot safer with those picks.
Yeah, you've got a whole bunch more flexibility, and they can actually have ESPX have a good game. He's not going to be cancelled out from the start here. The bans on the other side from FY2, they're basically literally identical. They banned Quap last time, they banned the Lycan, they banned the Bounty, and I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, and I might be wrong with this one, the Lina was their final ban. So these guys, they're feeling comfortable, they're feeling strong, and right now they're going to have to be dealing with a Grimstroke.
Yeah, nice first pick from the Grimstroke. Opens up a lot of options. You're not sure whether it's the 4 or the 5. Beastmaster, wow, okay. We're just obviously picking strong heroes to open the draft. Beastmaster, a bit less flexible than some other opening picks, but I think FFY V2 are just very confident in their ability to, okay, if we end up with the losing offlane matchup, so be it. Whoever our Beastmaster player is, Chestnut, I believe is their manager, playing stand-in for Y-God. This is probably just a comfort hero for him, and you know, we're going to trust him to do enough of a job even if he gets counted in lane. But the sniper is going to make it very hard to do that. I assume this is their 4 position.
Yeah, it seems like it. The comfortable 4-position sniper, a whole bunch of burst damage. You know, the Assassinate's great, the stun is fantastic. You can pair that up with the Raw to have, what, like 4 seconds of disable? That's one hell of a lot of disable.
10 seconds remaining.
Yeah, and the other thing is the insane range on the Assassinate. Obviously, Beastmaster is one of the best heroes in Dota at playing the Vision game, and Vision is all you need for Assassinate. With that Axe Assassinate, you will not even see the Hawk coming. You can feel yourself completely safe deep on your side of the map, and then Sniper just assassinates you, and that stun is long enough for Beastmaster to run forward, blink forward, roar you, and then you're dead.
Well, maybe the hook's gonna change, and Clockwork being the second pick up here, he can target the sniper. He's good at keeping Beastmaster at bay. He's still quite strong.
Yeah, really good hero, can be played in a support position or now a core position if you have a good Clockwork player and you feel confident kind of like rolling the hooks. It's one of those heroes where if you are playing a core role, you're kind of torn between farming and ganking, but as long as you're capable of playing that rhythm, it can be very, very strong, especially with the new Aghanims, and it is a classic sniper counter. So if this does end up being a core sniper in particular, you'll be glad to have picked up the Clockwork. Also a bit of synergy with the Grimstroke, right? So obviously Clockwork, a hero who runs into melee range and is adept at staying in melee range of heroes. Well, you've got Inkswell, which not only gives you a movement speed boost, but obviously pays you off in spades for being able to close the gap like that. So happy little combination with your 1 and 2. You never hate to see.
Oh yeah, no, they're feeling pretty happy about getting those two together. In fact, they're going to get rid of the anti-mage, going to get rid of a Ricky. All right, and that is one sick combination with the Grimstroke, so that one's out of the pool here. We got third pick. So what are you thinking? You have Sniper and a Beastmaster. I would say, you know, the 2 best friends in the laning stage, but now they are. What are we missing here? What's the position 5 that kind of makes up for what Sniper lacks?
Well, you could pick control, obviously, but obviously Beastmaster brings a lot of that as your 3 position, and even once he gets the Aghanim, Sniper with the spammable slow from the Shrapnel and the ult kind of brings that eventually by the time you want to fight. So maybe a healing hero. Enchantress is banned, but you could pick up a Chen. I'm sure FFYV2, a team of their caliber, have someone comfortable on the Chen. And that would give you a very, very strong mid-game timing potentially. You don't need to lean all the way in with a Luna pick, but you could. And I'd hate to be the team defending against that. And there it is. This is going to be hellish to defend against around the 25-minute mark. The Chen creeps plus the Beastmaster's inner Beast aura plus presumably another aura-based carry, be it Drow, Avenge, or Luna, is maybe the best strat you can go for right now.
Oh man, and I mean they've got a Grimstroke which seems to be pretty good at cancelling the pushes, but Clockwork, I mean, he's got a rocket, he's got a cogs, he's pretty much empty-handed against pushing drafts.
Yeah, not to mention that Chen's wall of creeps, along with Beastmaster summons, does make it like much more difficult to hit a hookshot on the hero of your choice. You have to try and find those funky angles. Once you've deployed your hookshot, you know, you're not going to have freedom of movement in team fights. Even if you get phase boots, a good Chen will be able to slow you, stun you, net you with his creeps, and it's going to make it very difficult for Clockwork to get onto targets and actually do his job.
Well, we've got a minute 20 to think about it. They've been using a whole bunch of reserve time to get here, so I think TOONZ Reborn's, they're sitting down. They need something good to deal with it. Is there anything that really just cancels out a pushing lineup?
I don't know about cancelling out the whole pushing lineup, but I'd love to see them grab a Clinks for several reasons. First of all, it does counter the Chen to quite a large degree. The Death Pact ability just gobbles up a creep, and you actually kind of thank the Chen for bringing you a Death Pactable creep ready to the fight, so you can immediately grab that buff, by sort of sacrificing it to Dark Powers. But the other reason I'd love to see that is they pick up the Shadow Fiend. Okay, that's a decent level of counter push, and a hero that you can buy an early BKB on to offset the much of what the Sniper would do. But I think the reason why you might still want to Clinks is we've seen, you mentioned Gucci's tendency to farm hard out of the mid lane, right? And that last game, they picked a Razor. He did come to some fights, but he was doing quite well and seemed most comfortable farming from the mid lane. So if you know you've got a mid laner who plays like that, maybe pick a safe laner that has an earlier timing, that actually wants to rotate early and have your safe laner participate in the kills while your mid laner becomes your true carry. And a Clinks would fill that role.
Well, Juggernaut being the true carry of FFYV2, feeling very safe, very comfortable. In fact, it seems like just a solid answer. You can't really go wrong for Juggernaut.
No, this is like the classic frontline carry for a pushing lineup, like Chen, Juggernaut. We're going back to the International 1 here with this kind of stuff. And Juggernaut's Healing Ward, obviously, not a support hero, but one of the most potent support skills you can have in a very early Death Ball timing. Just nothing really is as effective in terms of healing over time as that percent-based heal to your entire team, including the Chen creeps, as well as Juggernaut being a potent tower pusher. If your Sniper is not a core hero to have that tower pushing damage, your Juggernaut, even though he's melee, can run up, spin, and hit the tower and just bring it down 4 or 5 seconds of autos at a time, and very difficult to fight into.
Yeah, that is true, and very difficult to draft into, because all this reserve time, it's going down the drain. We're down to 25 seconds. We need a carry, we need an offlane, maybe, if the clock does fit the offlane. Seeing this draft, do you want the clock in the offlane?
I think you might need to flex into a different offlane. I'm sure their original plan was a Grimstroke Clockwork offlane, but I would love to see them grab something like an Axe right now, because you want some sort of crowd control hero, right, that does a job a lot better than a Clockwork. Clockwork can just be your support, and then if he has trouble hitting his hooks, it's not a worry. But right now he's too vulnerable to this draft that's come out. Oh, okay.
Hell yeah. All right, someone we haven't seen for ages. Omni Knight. I think it's literally a first for this season.
Yeah, I mean, it is, and there's a reason for that. This is a very niche hero. I'm not saying it's powerless, but Omni Knight's job right now really boils down to empowering one carry. I think the most famous partner currently is like OD. You want a hero with an insane mid-game offensive power spike, and Shadow Fiend does tick that box, but you are really putting a lot of eggs in that Shadow Fiend basket right now. I don't know if Omni Knight can save him from an Omni Slash, and what's more, Omni Knight does not really help you with your counter-pushing problems.
No. My brain just jumped at me, and I don't think I like the idea, but could we play Sven? Could TOONZ go for a Sven?
I mean, Sven does have a lot to offer in this scenario. It's a classic Juggernaut counter, at least when he gave armor with his E, but in terms of being a tanky carry who can potentially survive an Omni Slash, you tick that box. And the Cleave is going to help against the creeps. Also, the Aghanim Scepter, right? You used to have to buy a Blink Dagger on Sven, like a lot of melee carries, but the Ags has actually become accepted as a decent item to build. And when you're fighting against a sniper, like a squishy backline hero, this low cooldown kind of blinking gap closing ability with a stun on the upgraded Stormbolt could be useful. I just worry about your ability to get to that stage. You could be just kited around in the fights at the time when it's most critical.
I guess we'll find out, because there's literally 1 second of reserve time. That's it.
We go for a
between them
Gyrocop.
and the final pick.
10 seconds remaining.
Gyrocop. They've got a few options to go down a few different paths to go for their last
5
pick, the
seconds
Carol
remaining.
Baskin, to pick on up his favorite Ricky. It's off the
Radiant
board.
team.
No anti-mages, but there will be a Bristleback.
Ooh, okay.
Who'd
Well,
you
look,
pick?
they took my advice. I said pick a carry that's going to get involved early and let Gachi in the mid lane be your farmer. Going for Bristleback Omni Knight, they're definitely planning on getting Carol Baskin involved early.
Why did my brain just say Viper?
Because there's a hero in the game that dies to break.
Oh yeah, that's right. Oh, weird.
5 seconds
Wasn't as crazy
remaining.
as I thought it was. But is there anything that really FF5v2 just really want to go for? They've got a pushing lineup, but I guess they don't have the best burst. Is that going
Viper's
to
in
be a
fine.
downfall here?
They could really do anything here. I mean, you don't really want burst against Bristleback. Your best plan is to ignore him. So Viper falls very well into that category because you can just slow him and then ignore him. And if he overcommits, you can always break the Bristleback using Nether Toxin, and then he becomes easy prey. As well as Viper being probably kind of a pain for that Shadow Fiend mid if that is their #1 carry hero. So, you know, they could pick that. It anchors their front line very well, can help Juggernaut do some pushing. But you could also pick yourself some insurance. You could just go for a late gamer. Like, if they pick an Ember Spirit or something here, or a Void Spirit, I don't think that's a
OD.
problem. They go for OD instead. That's a funky one.
Oh yeah, it seems like it's pretty good against the Omni Knight. None of these heroes are int heroes, so they're going to get smashed by the hammer. Does it mean they're going to take game 2? Do you like the OD pick here?
I mean, I like the FFY lineup in general. I said they could pick pretty much anything as their last pick. OD is certainly not what I was thinking of. It doesn't really hit towers at all. You know, it's sort of just a very high damage hero, but I trust in their ability to play it. I'm sure Massaway, this is a favorite of his, so I'm going to trust them. Based on what we saw in game 1, it's very hard to pick against them. I don't like the TOONZ Reborn draft as much as I did either, so tough ask for them to win this and tie up the series.
I'm gonna back the underdogs. I'm gonna back the underdogs. I think TOONZ Reborn, they've got this. A little bit too crazy. The Omni Knight, it's out left field. These guys haven't played against an Omni Knight for ages, and maybe that factor changes this game back in TOONZ Reborn. You know, win condition. It's not crazy enough because they have pieces that work pretty well together, and they have no break for this Bristleback. If he has a good lane, he can potentially carry this game.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can always build break, but I don't think you necessarily need it to deal with the Bristleback like you need it to deal with the Spectre in the late game. And FF5v2, if they get far enough in these heroes, like our Devourer cuts straight through Bristleback. You don't need to break him to slay him with the power of Desanity's Eclipse or Arcane Orb. So that's, I think, their counter, or their intended counter there. And I'm most interested to see, what does B Hunter do on this Chen, right? Because if we learn that they have a lethal Chen player, this team's standing rises even higher in my eyes. But the assignment against Bristleback in lane, not so easy for the Chen. So maybe where he tries to help out the mid laner more this game?
Maybe he's got a lot of different options to go for, but this is game 2. It's a very vital game because FF5v2, they've proven themselves to be a powerhouse of this season of LPL, well deserving their place, currently at the top of the leaderboard, even at the start of the week, but still, TOONZ Reborn, they're constantly working through new drafts, trying to get some new players, and maybe this different draft, like, it's different, it's unexpected, it may be a little bit crazy enough to prove victorious for them in the game 2. And as always, I'd like to thank one of our sponsors for sponsoring this season of LPL. I'd like to thank Vodafone, sponsoring season 2 of 2020, a great mobile partner with us, and we always brings high quality for call systems for everyone to use. I use Vodafone, I love it. I get coverage everywhere I go.
Wow, okay, that's one way to rep the sponsor for sure, definitely showing up and displaying the brand. But that being said, we've got Massaway showing up to the mid lane, bit of a different assignment. So picking up the OD for a moment I wondered if we were going to see the safe lane Outworld Devourer, but not so. Typical lane assignments for the heroes, although Juggernaut is running towards the top lane. So I wonder what might have provoked this. It seems like you're changing up your presumptive safe lane and off lane slots. Usually, this means that you're expecting a similar swap from the other team, since there's no real incentive to send your Juggernaut to the less farm-heavy lane otherwise.
Yeah, it seems to be a little bit of a different play here, but maybe they might play themselves, get himself into a bad situation here. But if you really want to have a combination of a whole bunch of regen against somebody who's a good laner, Chen, Juggernaut seem to be a pretty good combo here. These guys have a hell of a lot of survivability.
Yeah, that's true. They definitely do, as well as great damage and ability to kill, especially once Chen grabs some sort of disable from a neutral creep to set up the Juggernaut spin, the Blade Fury, one of the best early game killing skills and most iconic early game killing skills in all of Dota.
Pretty much. And right now, it looks like Beastmaster Sniper, they're running down the Clockwork and Omni. Now, these guys aren't a combo that we're used to seeing.
No. Well, the Sniper Beastmaster combo is brutal in one particular area, and that is slowing. The Shrapnel, of course, from the Sniper, relatively unique in being able to use all of its charges at once. You can kind of front-load all of your disables for sort of the next 3 engagements in the lane, and not many heroes can compete with that. On top of Brewmaster's already brutal constant boar harassment. So I wonder how Clockwork, a melee hero, is going to deal with that.
Well, right now, they just move on forward and hit him. That's the way they deal with it. He does survive a little bit, but the pressure's pretty big. Boars, snipers, just hitting everybody. Hopefully you have enough regen to survive out of it, because it seems like these lanes, they're putting a whole bunch of pressure on. This Bristleback is just constantly getting hit by the Chen. Juggernaut is feeling safe with farming. In fact, Grimstroke, can he even get into this lane?
I mean, I guess they can only focus on one hero at a time, but yeah, I see this being difficult. I mentioned that the Bristleback is a decent choice against the Chen, mostly because you're one of the few heroes that can economically whittle down the Chen creeps, but the Chen isn't so much worried about that right now, and the Bristleback against the Juggernaut does have to be concerned about dying. There's just so much damage from that Blade Fury. Grimstroke, not a defensive support, can't really assist with that one, and it's very hard, given the projectile travel time on his silence, to prevent the combo from coming out, so I think that defines the lane for them.
Well, right now they're coaxing in the Sniper, keeping back the Beastmaster, but they're not really getting ahead on either one of these sides. The pressure is pretty good, but the Creep Wave is pushing on into the Omnilite, so I think he's the real winner in the end. And right now, Bristleback is going to keep on Juggernaut, but the one thing I didn't actually think about, it's a classic. It is an old school Dota tactic. Shadow Fiend went to the lane with 17 denies. The man's been denying cogs, getting the souls to try and get a better start into his landing stage, but it only worked out to give him 4 last hits so far. OD is feeling comfortable.
Yeah, that's kind of disastrous. If you walk in a lane with that much Necromastery damage and you still can't secure the last hits, there's something going wrong. And we know that FFYV2 are playing very tight in other areas of the game, so reasonable they'd be good at last hitting as well. Still a bit disappointing, especially since this Clockwork pick is very compromising to your lanes. This Omni Clock lane is just awful. I can't ever see it working out, and I'm surprised that they aren't combining Omni with the Bristle and the Grimstroke with the Clock.
Well, yeah, it seems like they're not valuing the drops yet. They're trying to get through this laning stage, but Chen is making a hell of a work out of it. He's got himself the creep that just blows you away with the lightning. It does so much damage, keeps so much pressure on. In fact, he doesn't even care, trying to stack his camps at the main time. Juggernaut, he's got, top farm, 16-2. Bristleback is getting some himself. The bottom lane isn't feeling amazing, but it's stable. There's no first blood being given up. They haven't been able to kick the Omni Knight out, at least. Like, there are things that are going pretty well. Shadow Fiend, I mean, even if he does lose the mid lane, he can go back and farm the jungle much faster than the OD can.
That is true. That's obviously the strength of Shadow Fiend and why I mentioned he's one of those sort of safer picks where, regardless of your lane, as long as your team doesn't completely collapse, you're going to get a chance to play. But, I mean, when we talk about complete collapse, these lanes are in danger of it. They're losing all 3 lanes right now. Before anything's really happened, like, kills haven't even gone down. Just at passive play, they are losing all lanes. So it's on them to do something, and I don't know if their heroes have the capacity, right? Like, how do you make a play in bottom? Who rotates? Who engages?
I'm not sure how we're going to answer that, but, you know, it is for TOONZ Reborn to answer it, and currently their answer is just sit here, get the last hits that you can, try and, you know, deny as much as you can, and keep as much farm as you're going. So they kind of are reflecting game one quite a bit, where they were pretty passive in their playmaking.
That's true, but in game one they had a Spectre and a Razor, and both of those heroes did quite well in their lanes, actually. You know, we saw the Razor trade farm evenly mid, if not come out ahead. The Spectre for those early levels was farming quite well against the Brew, and that gives you late game insurance. This game, their one position is a Bristleback, who's definitely not a late game carry of any kind. Their offlane core is an Omni Knight, who's an overgrown support hero at best. So everything's on the Shadow Fiend, and he is the lowest farmed core of all.
He's got 18 denies. Got a positive.
Good for him.
It's a nice number. Yeah. It'll pay off eventually. But Beastmaster actually keeps down the Omni Knight. He's going to put at least the Heavenly Grace on for him for now. And will almost make him survive. No, they're just going to chase him down under the tower. They don't have the damage, but he doesn't exactly have the best regen, so they kicked him out just in time for Rune, so he can slip on in, steal it up, get a little bit of gold back into his team, and keep that gold lead at only 1k difference between. It's not feeling crazy comfortable. Juggernaut is about 600 gold above the Bristleback. Everyone else is a little bit even, and Shadowfiend did finally hit the jungle. He pushes the creep wave out, farms a couple jungle camps, and is now 100 gold away from the OD, and Moops, he's looking to make a rotation here, looking for the opportunity, but they need him to use the banish. But it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get the opportunity. Omni Knight is solo down the bottom here. They should be able to know that he's solo down the bottom here. And, okay, Banish comes in. They're going to get TP on the Grimstroke. Shadowfiend is moving forward. Damage, one raise comes out. Can they get a second? Yes, they can. First blood's gone. Johto takes it, and Matsaway is gone. 22 seconds down, and that's the kill they needed.
Yeah, that is the first sort of faith-restoring thing I've seen from TOONZ Reborn this game. I mentioned that last game, I thought they played their draft quite well in terms of harnessing their heroes and making good rotations. That was perfectly executed. Like you said, they waited for the banish, and once it was used, they knew they could get that kill. They don't mess around. They bring the Grimstroke in to absolutely guarantee it, and that's good stuff. Also, notice how effective they can be when they pull out of that bottom lane, right? Like, Omni Knight falls back, grabs the bounty, stacks the jungle, whatever, and they rotate the clock. This is good.
They're just going forward, trying to get the sniper back. Clockwork, can you survive? You got the Slaughter Chapter, you got the damage on the OD, but adding on up, and this Clockwork, okay, he's going to be traded. No high ground miss for the man, and Massively comes back to get himself a kill. Juggernaut getting pressured on out, so a little bit of space being given to the Bristleback, which is good, but then Chen walks on back to keep the pressure back on in. I do love the fact that Chen's got a mana burn creep to keep Bristleback from doing any quills. He can't be Bristleback.
Yeah, that's brutal, especially because, as they commit on ESPX at bottom lane, he is dead as dead.
Okay, it was bait.
Oh, no sniper around, actually.
It worked out. Okay. Yeah, he's coming back slowly, but man's got little legs, so no kills for you. And even creeps for the Omni Knight, so, hey, not too bad in the end.
I mean, the fact is that they don't need to kill this Omni Knight, right? Like, his hero will not outscale them, and right now he is not getting as much as he needs to out of the lane, although relative to his position, he might be doing better than the other two cores. It's so unfortunate that Bristleback, you know, his spines will kill creeps and all sorts of other things, but they will not kill Juggernaut's healing ward, and we're seeing that really factor into this lane as Jug just heals through the spines damage pretty effortlessly.
It seems like FF1v2 know exactly how to play their matchups. They played it gone perfectly. Chen's got the creeps that he needed. He's put the pressure on the Grimstroke. The Grimstroke has been put the pressure on the Juggernaut. And I mean, Bristleback is level 6 now, but he's got even last hits with the Juggernaut and OD. Okay, maybe you're going to get a rotation on the OD, but TP's coming in. The Cogs aren't there. The Razors, he doesn't have any more mana on the Shadow Fiend to finish it off. So OD's fine. Moose made a rotation that earned nothing. They're actually going to just self up onto OD, which he was going to do anyway. It's feeling comfortable and fine. I don't think FF1v2 are really feeling it.
I don't think they're bothered, but I also would argue that Moops rotating to mid is the best way that Moops could support support Omni Knight in bottom lane, right? Like, actually standing in the bottom lane against those heroes, he's going to do nothing, but by constantly going on this OD mid and forcing teleports, forcing rotations, he's taking pressure off the side lanes indirectly. So I would argue Moops is actually adapting quite well to a pretty tough game for his hero.
It's effort. He's making plays, he's making space. He's not just resting in the bottom lane trying to make sure Omni Knight gets farmed. He's trying to boost up all these lanes. The Shadow Fiend's been pressured. He went to mid. He got a good kill on the Massaway. which was valuable. The first blood actually going straight to TOONZ Reborn there, but it still hasn't really impacted too much because OD, he's about to bring some pain, just gonna pressure Gachi under his tower. He does have any points in orbs, but he can drop the hammer, and nope, doesn't even kill. Grimstroke coming, trying to get it, got the silence on the OD, so he can't banish, but now it's even done. Shrapnel gotta just separate the fight, so OD's not gonna die. In fact, he's just banishing everyone who comes, and who's gonna be down? It's Moops, but where's the damage on top? There's no points in orb, so OD can't bring it. So no kills are coming either way, but that's some big rotations. That's some space. That gives Omni Knight and Beastmaster a little bit of space to pressure up between them. So these lanes are still, yeah, they're pretty static. The mid lane seems to be where all the attention is at.
Yeah, well, Moose is sort of the only hero on TOONZ who can possibly rotate. They've picked these very, very static laners, and even Moves before level 6. We're seeing these ganks are not really that effective. They're more ganks of necessity. He doesn't have anything else to do on the map, so this becomes the right decision. But you're not going to see any sort of dynamic laning play out of this TOONZ team. And the FFYV2 team, they're more capable of it, but they're under no pressure to, because they're scaling better towards a stronger mid-game timing. They're happy with this passive laning phase.
And 10 minutes is coming up. 9:40, 20 seconds ago. Just going to claim the bottom outpost. Moops to slip it on in, but then everybody just slips on back and claims it back. What can Moops do? He can hit by a boy. SPX going to try and help him out, but they are not getting the outpost. Maybe you do get the runes, and maybe you do get killed out of it. SPX is going to come in, try and heal one up, but he's really kept with Beastmaster. He's focusing it. He can't save him. He can't actually even get the runes down, so Omni Knight gets absolutely nothing but his rune itself, or does he? Trying to force out the Raw, doesn't actually have the mana, pop the neck with Book, just to get out a little bit extra damage on top to chase this man now down. No purges, just slow, but really, it seems like ESPX didn't know how he wanted to approach that situation. He thought he could save the Clockwork, he didn't save the Clockwork, and the gold lead that he would have got from the bounty rune, he just sacrificed to staying alive. And now he's dead.
I don't know.
Oh man.
I don't know if ESPX knows how to approach this game.
Fair enough. It seems to be one of the downsides of having this Omni Knight hero is he can't just build auras and is there.
I'm a fan of the hero, but this was not the game to pick it in, I think. And then going back for the Bristleback pick, fairly limited their gameplay. It's like doubling down on these, like you said, very static heroes, right? And that means that even though you took it late in the draft, if you're at a lane disadvantage, you're kind of powerless to do anything about it right now, and that's what we're seeing them struggle with. They just are kind of at the mercy of FFYV2. If FFYV2 want to farm, well, their cores are solidly ahead. They're up 5k gold at 10 minutes. If their cores want to gank, we saw Beastmaster. How deep did he kill the SPX there? That was almost at the tier 2 mid lane.
Yeah, he also got clocked after at the tier 2 mid lane.
Yeah, and there's nothing that TOONZ Reborn can do about it because of how their heroes work. They just do not have the capacity to respond in a timely fashion to these plays on the map.
And Juggernaut's already active. He's working with the Beastmaster to push down these towns. Beastmaster working on Necronomicons to push even faster. So this time is already coming. The rolls already playing, and Shadowfiend isn't feeling the farm. He's got 4,000 net worth. He's got the same as Bristleback, but the gold lead on the other side is massive. In fact, they're just going to run forward, try and get the inks on somebody. Beastmaster will be caught out, but he is so tanky. But what's in backlines? Okay, they're going on Necronomicons instead. They don't even want the kills. In fact, Johto is just going to die to the Necronomicon itself. Oh man,
I mean, it's a strong item right now. You can't really shame anybody for dying to Necros because I think they might have become one of the most common causes of death among Dota 2 heroes, but it's still not a great sign. This Beastmaster is rolling now, and you know, his opposite number in the Omni Knight, like, I'm really not sure what ESPX's role is in the game. You saw him throwing out his defensive skills, but your team needs to be offensively potent for those skills to matter.
Stopping. We found Shadowfiend trapped on top with the Raw. He got a X-Spell, but he's just getting chipped down with the hammer to put him out. Joto's going back to just be instantly assassinated and take it on out. Okay, he gets back to his base, and maybe OD gets sacrificed, so it's Moods is coming. ESPX has beat him, and they can take him out with the ult actually being popped from the Omni Knight to keep the physical damage away. Okay, you get the kill on the board, you lose the Shadowfiend, and that's actually a pretty good fight. Maybe you can get some more. The Quills are going to take out the courier. Maybe you can get the Beastmaster here. The man doesn't have Raw. He's already used it on the Shadowfiend, but the speed isn't enough. The boars are slowing him so far down that he can't actually reach the Beastmaster. So maybe that's favorable for TOONZ Reborn. You did get the OD out of it. Shadowfiend may have died, but everybody else does get a little bit of split gold, and the mech's coming a little bit faster. Maybe that pays off.
As usual, for the team who's behind, the even-looking trade is favorable, so TOONZ Reborn getting a win there. You love to get your Bristleback involved, and that finally looked like how a Bristleback wants to play Dota, but I don't think that FFYV2 were terribly invested in that fight either. You know, the Juggernaut continuing to farm, continuing to progress, and it's very worrying because, you know, the Shadow Fiend is really the centerpiece of this draft. He's the one who's going to scale in his damage dealing capacity, but that hero struggles in a lot of situations, right? He's fragile, position dependent. A lot of his damage, unless you're very farmed, is magical, which is countered by not only Blade Fury, but then if Jug buys a BKB or Jug buys an Aghanims, like it's very easy to itemize against him and to make his game difficult. So I don't think the Omni Knight is capable of offsetting that.
Oh, okay, we found ourselves moves in the back. We're trying to go for Champ, but Champ's got so much HP regen, you can't even kill him. You're going to sacrifice yourself, going to get the roll on the Grimstroke himself and make it a double. A double when it should have been a single at all. Odie's even coming on up to join his party and make it a triple as Bristleback doesn't die, goes back. ESPX trying to TP out, it ain't happening. And now Bristleback is isolated, trying to go back. Trying to TP out. Okay, he makes it out, but 3 heroes sacrificed for a Chen that didn't die. I'm feeling uncomfortable. 7k gold lead doesn't fill me with confidence here.
No, and the most worrying thing about that is if you paid attention to the auditory cues, we heard a hook shot, and when we cut over to the fight, there was a Grimstroke ult running. So that was actually TOONZ REBORN taking the fight on their terms, supposedly. They found the weakest enemy hero, they hookshotted onto him, they applied the Grimstroke ultimate, but of course they have no combo. There's like no, their best single target spell is like Nasal Goo. So there's no follow-up to that ultimate at all, apart from the Grimstroke's own silence. And then they just don't have the damage to kill the support. That's a worrying sign.
It is, and that was a Chen before he had the mech. Man's got the mech now, he's got the Hand of God, he's got so much regen, you don't know what to do with it. In fact, they're going to be trying to do something by popping the Requiem to get the rune. Did they get it? Okay, they did, but are they going to get a kill? So he top moves, it's just being Omni-slashed to death. The Mask of Madness, and now Juggernaut is happy to go join his friend. Beastmaster going to chase him down. Okay, Beastmaster's gone, they're going to kill on their side. Calabas's going to take it, maybe they can just split on up, but Beastmaster, Bristleback is thinking about going back in. Okay, Inkswell to get back to safety. These guys are fighting on 2 different paths. In fact, Odie's going to be able to catch him out. Carol is still fighting. He's putting down the Quill Spray. ESPX is going to be caught out too. There's your Heavenly Grace, but he's just running so slow with the orbs keeping up. He's got another banish, he can just keep him out, but I think he's just going to be building up the intel stacks and wants to. No, he's going to banish up the hammer, trying to get Bristleback down to half HP. Ground Madness not going to get there yet, but Bristleback really isn't having an impact. Omni Knight is dead. The kills turn the other way again. You got the Beastmaster, but then you overcommit it. TOONZ REBORN, we're not even done yet. We're actually going to catch the Bristleback. Do they let him live? Okay, then let him live for now. The hammer's dropped and they can split on back, but still, TOONZ REBORN, they've got to know when to pull back.
Yeah, I mean, again, we just saw the little signs that are, again, TOONZ REBORN's, just their communication seems to not be quite up to par, and unfortunately they're playing against one of the best coordinated teams I've ever seen in this competition in FFYV2, so they're being heavily exposed. Things like that little Inkswell play, the fact they're fighting on 2 fronts, it actually paid off for them initially, because losing their Clockwork to the Juggernaut's kind of a foregone conclusion, and they got a Beastmaster kill out of it, which is far more valuable. But, you know, no team fight ends with the first kill like that, and they have to withdraw safely, which they were unable to do.
Oh, okay, move's gone for Hunter. Last time they tried to go for Hunter, everybody died. But this time, to bring up 4 heroes itself, one of them being the Shadow Fiend. Yep, you're gonna get yourself a chance. 195 gold going straight to ESPX. And really not looking for a response. I don't think they really cared. Everybody else is just calm because Matsway's pushing in his top tier 2. They don't even want to respond. Chen's just out there farming, getting his arms for himself.
Yeah, I mean, the Shadow Fiend being present is the critical thing from last time. They didn't have damage without him, but the issue is he's also their only farmer, so if he's coming to these kills to make sure that they can kill 5-position Chen, then he's not really efficiently hitting creeps, and that means he's falling further behind this Jug and this OD, both of whom I'd argue are already favored against him and already ahead of him.
And they're going to be down 1 Roche as FFYV2 just comfortably take it in. And with no real response from TOONZ REBORN, Odie with the Aegis, instant smoke on out with the Bristleback in the area. Is he running? Oh, he's not running. He's not going. He's farming. He's going greedy, and now he does, but smoke does break. 4 stuff comes out. They've got the banish. They've found him. Everybody needs to respond as quick as they can. Oh, the TP's coming. No, they're not. They're leaving in the die. Okay, 1 TP comes in. It's the Omni Knight. Can he do it? The Quills are coming, and they pay off. Beastmaster does go down, and they finally arrive. Got a Soulbind, and the sun's coming out. Boops going to be pushing back in the OD, but he does have the agents. But it might be turning the other way, because Bristleback is not dead yet. Inkswells are coming. The disarm is there. No more orbs. No more ints. Quarters OD, but Juggernaut comes on in. Omni slash and cleans on up. Aegis is popped, but everybody else has arrived. The Chen, the Sniper, the Jug, the pressure. Moops is running back behind his trees, but there's a ward waiting to see him. You can't shoot when they see you the entire time, so 3 kills will be given for 1 and the Aegis. And FFYV2 feeling comfortable with Shadow Fiend not even being there to respond. He's just pushing out this lane.
Yeah, exactly. And that was the most aggressive and, like, I'm sure they knew it was, but calculatedly sloppy teamfight FF5V2 could have taken there. Their OD is going in, using his Force Staff active, which obviously, you know, you buy to theoretically counter the Clockwork or the Grimstroke, using that aggressively just to make sure you can immediately grab the Bristle, going on the tankiest tier on the Bristle, without any source of break as you advertised, under the tier 2, really just tempting fate as much as possible, apart from having the Aegis, and still went nowhere near to going badly for them. They are so powerful in this game right now.
OD might get caught out. He's actually shot Force back to high ground, but everybody's going to be chasing him in middle of the river. Moots is just beeline to him, just sharing him, just touch him as much as he can. The barrier assault is gone. Evergrace is helping, but then the Juggernaut shows up. No Omni Slash for the man himself. The Arcanine comes out. He's going to pretend to be the Roche, but Roche is currently dead, and so is the Clockwork. Okay, there we go. Got actually hit down. The Abacass will be traded. Finding himself in the backside. Bristleback still feeling a little bit tanky with the help of Gachi, just hiding on, you know, the middle lane with the Shadow Blade, the surprise Shadow Blade paying off in the end. In fact, OD's coming, the Requiem is coming, but is he going to be using? I think they know what's up. In fact, yeah, there's Sentry down. There's Sentry down. So he's going to move on back. No Requiem for you to spin on back to safety. Maybe you get a chance. Can you get a chance? Yes, you can. Bristleback just running people down. The Heavenly Grace is pretty powerful with your strength. Hero just making him a beast. And these kills are valuable. They're getting gold back on their side. The pressure is coming in. Are they feeling more comfortable than before?
I think what we're saying is that, again, TOONZ REBORN, they understand what their heroes are meant to do. They're trying to make the fights happen on their terms. Moops is actually playing quite well in this Clockwork, considering he's at a considerable matchup disadvantage and has about 20% of the net worth of the heroes he's trying to fight. Successfully distracted the 2 enemy cores while they killed off the Sniper, which is pretty valuable. And I like that they're actually getting the Bristle back into play. I just don't know if there's a future in this long term, right? We saw it last game. They can play as well as they like, but you got to look at the economic edge and who it's going to. The lead is just deepening for FF5V2 with every minute.
It certainly is. 13k gold lead, 16-7, 20 minutes in. The runes are slipped in by the Beastmaster, but they were able to still one in the top, so it's not all bad news for TOONZ REBORN here. In fact, Gachi is getting the gold. He's able to pressure the lane in, but so is Juggernaut, pushing this tier 2 in, making sure somebody's going to rotation. This build is, I don't think it's your average Jug build. It's a Desolator into Ags into Yasha. I honestly don't know if I've seen Jug do that, but I've also haven't seen the Shadow Fiend die for a while, and he just gets picked off in the mid lane. 48 seconds, no buyback.
Ooh. Yeah, I mean, look, I expected the Shadow Fiend to go BKB, but by going, he looks like he's going, he went the Dragonlance, which I assume will be upgraded to a Hurricane Pike, and the Shadow Blade to try and land the ultimate sooner, so that does leave you very vulnerable being chain disabled, and Juggernaut does finish the Ags. It's not the Yasha yet, so it's going to be the Ags first, which makes much more sense, right? Now with the Swift Slash, you don't need to buy a BKB on this hero when you have 2 ultimates, one of which is on I think a 15-second cooldown or something very short like that, and it's gonna, with that Desolator, be the ultimate pushing core. I don't know whether that's the truly optimal item, but it's certainly optimal for ending the game quickly, and FF5V2 definitely seem like they have the confidence to go for that.
Yeah, they're feeling comfortable just sitting in this mid lane here. OD's pushing the bottom lane. Looks like Juggernaut's pushing the top, and they're just isolating TOONZ REBORN back into their base. The farm really isn't coming too much, with Shadow Fiend and Bristleback having the most of it, and Omni Knight, he's got about 5k, and that gold is really being reflected in here. Omni Knight hasn't felt like the biggest impact ever. His ultimates have done work, but could you see where he fits in their game plan here?
I mean, obviously your idea is that either the Shadow Fiend or the Bristleback is going to get that Heavenly Grace and that very personal touch and a VIP bodyguard level protection in fights. But you have to work hard to make that sort of enough of an impact to justify spending your 3rd core slot on it. And we just haven't seen that out of ESPX. You know, he hasn't been able to really apply the slow to these heroes because he's in so much danger of dying if, any of the enemy cores glance at him, right? The OD or the Juggernaut would destroy him, even the Necro from the Beastmaster, so he's not able to take a personal role in fights, and I just think that kind of sidelines the hero already from being an effective pick.
Yeah, right now, 4 heroes stand under Hawk vision as they head down bottom, and I'm pretty sure Sniper knows exactly what's coming his way. So he's just going to push out the lane, get in trees, and probably just TP on out. Okay, no, he's just sitting here comfortably, not really fearing much. In fact, he doesn't really need to fear much when he's got more net worth than 3 heroes on the side of TOONZ Reborn. In fact, Chan's got more farm than the Omni Knight. This gold is piling and is pretty evenly spread on the side of FFYV2.
Yeah, once again, FFYV2, just like game 1, as soon as they thought they were confident to do so, moved up and took control of the dire jungle, and it's really limited the map. At least this time, Shadowfiend and Bristleback are kind of flash farming heroes, so any small time they can get in control of their own jungle, they're able to take the farm there. But at the same time, they're not really great scaling heroes. You would rather be ahead right now than behind. They're trying to make do by taking this tier 1, but you can see that FFYV2 are just going to trade them for a tier 2 and threaten their base. They better teleport back right now.
Oh yeah, hopefully they do get tier 1 out of it. Okay, they do. They got tower for their troubles, but yeah, the mid lane is being pushed on in. Necrodomicon's being put on down. They've got the Sheep's Guard complete on the OD, so they're feeling pretty powerful. Bristleback instantly taken away with the burst, but now the creeps are moving on in. You've got Shrapnel slow peel down. The hook is on the back line, but it actually catch anybody. Chance out of it, and now Clockwork's instantly dead. Bristleback moving forward, but all his matter's being drained. The Heavenly Grace is making it pretty big. They've got the Hailbird onto the OD, but now it is done. More bandage coming out, more orbs being thrown left and right. They're waiting for the rock to drop, and it drops hard. It gets a double. They're dominating. They've found themselves the bristle and make it a triple. Okay, maybe not, but still. OD's massive. GG is called, and game 2 goes straight to FFYV2.
Yeah, I spent that entire team fight watching the level 3 Sanity's Eclipse button, just waiting, because at that point there is actually no way it does not win the team fight. You would need to click outside of the actual fight for that skill to not win the game. And the instant it was dropped, you saw Johto slam the GG, so I think TOONZ were kind of waiting for their fate as well. A brutal win, actually much worse than game 1 in terms of lopsidedness. A severe outdraft on top of what I'd argue is, you know, no offense, but a solid skill differential between these two teams.
It seems like they were comfortable in every single aspect of the game. Even missing Y-God, it didn't really slow them down at all. Their lanes were perfect. Their rotation seemed to be on point. Chen just being able to TP people from lane to lane, moving himself across the map and just dictating every single thing TOONZ Reborn wanted to do. Juggernaut was saying farming, and then when he was saying farming, he just made rotations and responses to the OD in the mid lane, just completely outplaying TOONZ Reborn.
Yeah, I don't know whether the whole draft was planned out, whether they wanted to pick these 5 heroes at all. I still would argue that so much weight is being put on the Bristleback and the Shadowfiend to both win their lanes, so that your Omni Knight has, like, strong heroes to comfort. They're all heroes that prefer to play from ahead, and they were immediately behind. I would argue, though, that even if this was their intended lineup, these were not their intended lanes. Like, it makes not much sense to me to have Clock and Omni together. You really wanted to put the Omni with the Bristle in lane, where the Heavenly Grace can be a real power tool, and making that Bristleback even more formidable and unkillable. And having the Inkswell to boost up the Clockwork would have been a real sell for that laning setup as well. So I think maybe they were just uncomfortable leaving the Clock in a core role after it got so heavily counterpicked. It's just weird to me that a hero with such a flexible support player as Moops and a willingness to pick heroes that are outside the box could find themselves kind of consistently with poor lane setups or with nowhere to go with their laning phase.
It seems like what they struggle with most is this drafting. They kind of just constantly draft themselves into holes, and then they kind of have to keep on filling the holes, and then it just ends up sinking anyways. Is there anything that you could really point to that they really need to work on?
I mean, maybe they have to look at what their first 2 hero picks are, because both games they did pick lane-winning heroes. It's hard to criticize them on the basis of, oh, they're not setting themselves up to win lanes, because on paper, individually especially, these heroes can be strong. But it's more about making them line up against what the enemy has, and both games their first 2 hero picks were significantly countered, to the degree that we saw that Centaur lane fail really hard in game 1, and in game 2, they got frightened out of the offlane setup they wanted entirely, ended up compromising their whole laning phase to avoid the bad matchup that they found themselves in. So perhaps they need to pick more flexible heroes in the 1 and 2 slot so that it's not as clear to the enemy what they're drafting against.
Well, we'll find out, because this week, unfortunately, they did go 2-0 down, but we've got another game coming up. Neet Uprising versus Crossfire coming up after this short break. Straight off a fantastic first series, we're back with a second sizzling series. Crossfire versus Neet. Uprising, the two titans from last season. They are back and they're going at it right now. And I'm pretty excited about this matchup. It's a pretty good one.
Absolutely. I mean, there's lots of different reasons to get excited for the matches we see in this LPL Pro season, but this one has the most history behind it. You might even want to call it Oz Classico. This is our longest standing rivalry, I believe, in Dota 2, with these two squads clashing repeatedly under different names and in different seasons of LPL Pro. It's always a heated matchup and a close one.
That's right, and with the same old squad from Neet Uprising, Esports, Fury, Tech, or Cozy, Risen, Spag, just feeling just as cohesive as we remembered them. These guys know how to draft, they know how to play, and they always bring it.
Yeah, absolutely. Last season's defending champions, of course, coming across and looking to uphold their championship this season against Crossfire. We've got TOONZ, Baosu, Reverie, Xavier, and Andros. Again, very strong players, a strong team overall, lots of great combinations, specialty heroes that we've loved to call over the seasons, and stepping up to the plate for the first time since last season, where I think Crossfire actually took the honors.
That is right, yeah. I believe last series we got to see him, because unfortunately these guys didn't make it through to the grand final. AGN beating Crossfire out as they were trying to cross the line there, but they were the only two teams to take off a game from each other. And really, these are really how we measure how good the Dota is. These two titans going up against each other, and it should be pointed out again, Xavier, he isn't playing his usual position 4. He's playing offlane again for this series.
Yeah, that's interesting. Obviously, you have total faith in Xavier. He's proven himself time and time again. One of my favorite players to cast. Love his play on a number of different heroes. Just has a great sense for finding ganks, finding kills, initiation, and positioning on the map. But yeah, the offlane role going to be a challenge for him, filling big shoes on Crossfire.
That is true, and really, if we're thinking about Crossfire, because they had the week off, believe it. So they've had a week to look at the replays, look at the drafts, watch the matches coming out in week 2, and now we're here at week 3. Neet Uprising, they lost a game to AGN. Maybe these guys, they can kind of, take a little bit of that AGN magic, and we're actually just straight into game 1, so we can find straight out.
Dire team back.
Yeah, absolutely. Crossfire might be a little bit more confident, even seeing that AGN took a game off the Neets. Of course, it was AGN who averted the chance of seeing this matchup play out in the grand final of last season by surprisingly taking down Crossfire. So now that both teams have kind of dropped the ball against AGN or been upset, maybe that puts them back on an even keel and adds confidence to the Crossfire squad.
And confidence in their band too. Crossfire, it's the comfort picks, it's Lone Druid, it's a Chant, it's Enchantress. Every single time you see Neet, these heroes are getting thrown on out. But the other side, a little more surprising, Grimstroke, Clinks, and Slug. The Baosu Slug being just put away. So Baosu's going to have to play something a little bit different, and the Beastmaster being the final ban here.
Yeah, absolutely. Again, both teams banning each other's comfort heroes. TOONZ not going to get his Grimstroke today. I haven't seen Baosu or Reverie play the Clinks, but I would imagine that as a Slark player, the new Clinks probably right up Baosu's alley.
Yeah, it seems like it. He likes to fight, he likes to farm, he likes to scale pretty well, but Mirana with Shadow Demon being stolen by Crossfire. Nice play with the first pick here.
Yeah, obviously there's a number of heroes that you can combine with Mirana, and Shadow Demon is not even the most popular one currently, because it kind of locks in your support duo very early in the draft, but certainly not a bad idea to pick it up, and the Shadow Demon perfectly strong in its own right, as we saw in the last series piloted by FFYV2 on their way to a 2-0. It makes me think Neet's Uprising might want to go back for something like a Sand King with their second pick. That's been a very popular combination with the Mirana or Bane Elemental, who's currently strong as well. Crossfire, though, they're more open. They could pick really anything here right now.
Yeah, they can go down any little path you want. Shadow Demon can go 5, can go 4. It is just mainly considered support, because I'm not going to see maybe a crazy cool Shadow Demon coming out. Hey, I like the sound of that. Nah,
I think mid Shadow Demon can be strong, but, compare it to a Queen of Pain.
Yeah, Cozy, he's feeling it. He's annoyed right now. You steal it from him, so they steal Puck right on back. They've got the matchup they want.
Yeah, possibly though, because of course one of the biggest innovations in this patch, Queen of Pain was already a strong mid laner, but we've seen teams really thoroughly explore to the point that it is by now not shocking at all, is to put Queen of Pain in basically any lane, any position, any role. perhaps the strongest overall hero in Dota 2 right now. She can make it work. Her laning is just that powerful. Her mobility and farming tools are that strong. Her stats scale well into the late game. She really brings a complete package. Puck, not quite as versatile. You can still play off-lane Puck. Support Puck has been dared by a few bolder teams, but you really are taking a risk to assume off the bat that this is a mid-Queen of Pain, especially since it's not being picked up for Kozzy, who has shown the willingness to just like march it in the mid lane under any circumstance.
Fair enough. The man is dominant on the floor, so he's going to have to play something differently. And we do know he can play Puck. The man has played quite a bit of Puck, so if you put in Kozzy's hands, it's going to be effective. But the question is, what hero is going to go with the other hands? Tekor is back in the off-lane role. We know what he loves to play, those big playmakers, the Phoenixes, the Centaurs, the Sand Kings, like you were pointing out before. Is there anything that you want to see him play in the off-lane here, just to maybe pressure up the weaknesses that Shadow Demon has?
Radiant team.
I mean, I guess there's nothing that you have to do, but I do think you're wasting the Mirana pick if you don't pick a hero that at least threatens the arrow combo. Even if you never move the Mirana up there, you know, you pays to have that threat because, of course, she operates from the fog. So you just put the fear into Crossfire by picking something like a Sand King or like a Centaur, just anything that really has a reliable stun in the laning phase and can hold its own one out against the enemy safe lane.
Fair enough. Interesting ban here, though. The PL might put the suggestion that Quap is in the off-lane position here. PL's quite good against the Quap in the laning stage.
Yeah, true. The ability of Phantom Rush to close the gap that Quap can open with her Blink really shuts down one of her major advantages against melee carries. Of course, one of the main ways to counter against the Quap is just pick a ranged carry, but, you know, having the Phantom Lancer there with the Doppelganger as well is going to be a really potent force. So I think you could argue it's just under leaving their options open. It would be very cool if you could bait a bad lane matchup just by implying your Quap is off lane with the PL ban, but I agree with your logic 100%.
Well, third pick is going to have to come eventually, even if you use all the reserve time in the world. Yeah, do have to pick something here. You got the Shadow Demon to set up something, and I don't think that something is going to be a Quap ult here. It's going to be a Dragon Knight.
Okay, so this is, again, it's technically flexible, but given recent ways this hero has been played, it's very likely you're off laner.
It's also a really good hero against the Puck. The Puck just can't break the armor. Keeps on hitting him, he keeps on regen, and doesn't even care.
That's true. And I mean, I guess technically you have the ability to kind of chase the Puck to whichever lane you go to, right? If you have 2 or even 3 really flexible cores, if this is a mid Puck, you can lane the mid Dragon Knight. If it's an off lane Puck, you can send the Dragon Knight to the safe lane. That's all right. You know, your other lanes are going to be strong enough farmers to make up for any slight shortfall in carry potential, and Dragon Knight's no slouch, so the Jakiro pickup, most likely a support. We've seen it go mid before, and I guess in some ways it kind of guards against a Templar Assassin as your third core, as another Puck counter, by having the counter ready, but...
No.
Maybe that's too 4D chess for this draft.
Yeah, you got to play yourself at the end. You're like, oh no, now I've got to Quap a Dragon Knight and a TA. How do these things go together? But really, the draft of flexibility is kind of insane from Crossfire here. They're not leaving, you know, too many avenues closed off for them if they want to go down here. The fourth pick can really still be anything here. We're just thinking some maybe for Andros to play on the position 4 to make some plays.
Yeah, I think if you're really trying to maximize the flexibility of these heroes, then you pick a 4 position here that can potentially be a core. So you're continuing to leave the question open as to whether the Quap even is your second support. But I don't think she is. I think she's so strong as a core, and these players do enjoy playing her as such. But you could also be sandbagging a Baosu hero. I don't really see Baosu on either of these 2 heroes, so... Depends what you want to go with here. You might want to save his matchup for last. Or pick
no,
this.
they don't. Morphling is coming on out, so how much carry you've got? It is enough in the world. Quap, Dragon Knight, Morphling all together here in the Uprising. They kind of need to slow this whole thing down, because what carry do they have? I mean, Puck is good burst damage, Mirana can set up the arrows, but who's going to do the right clicking?
Yeah, obviously that's going to be a test for them, and they're trying to delay as long as possible right now. They've picked a lot of control, so that's good for whatever they do eventually pick. They can go for even one of these sort of like turreting carries and have the stunts to set them up, and Venomancer just adds to that even more control. But I do worry about their ability to lock down Morphling, and Veno doesn't really help with that past the early game, right? Like this slippery water boy can just ease his way out of Ice Path, out of the Mirana Arrow, unless he's completely locked down. Puck is effective, but that's only one hero. So, you know, pretty bold Venomancer choice at this late stage.
Yeah, I guess the one thing they do have is Venomancer generally can rush a Spirit Vessel, so maybe that accelerated timing is enough to pick up the Venomancer, but he doesn't bring the control you want, he doesn't bring the tank that you want. It's very much a one-note style of teamfight.
What I see the Venomancer doing potentially is actually being good against the Quap or the Dragon Knight in lane, because it does sort of shut down particularly the mobility advantage of the Queen of Pain, but also the armor and durability of the Dragon Knight. Not so effective when you get permanent slowed by the Venomous Gale, and the poison damage obviously will add up on you over time. So even more so than the Jakiro, I think Venomancer does threaten the safety of those laners if you can get the matchup. But yeah, I'm surprised it wasn't a pick that leapt to mind there.
Well, the surprise is coming all out. Ricky is going to be banned against no Riz Ricky. In fact, they've taken him about most of Riz's heroes away from him. Is there anything that really answers all this carry? Is there still a favorable Morphling hero in the pool?
I'm not 100% certain. You've got a lot of magic damage over time for the Morphling, so it's going to be tough for him to play the hit-and-run game he likes to early on, right? Like, later on, the Morphling's going to be way too tanky to be bothered by all of this stuff. But early, when his health pool is fragile, if he has to shift Agi for damage, you can kind of just make the team fight too hostile for him. So perhaps you go for something with a very early timing, something that can anchor your push. I wouldn't mind seeing that.
Maybe a Drow? Out of all the heroes that got left. Drow, Ursa, I mean, if you want to go popular carries, Luna is still in the pool if you want to pick that up. It doesn't seem to be the best hero in the world. But yeah, Bat Rider is going to be taken out. So Big Playmaker is not going to be there, and their answer is Ursa. So they're just going to be running at you. That's the strategy here.
I liked either Drow or Venge or Luna. Like, the Aura ranged carries would go well with this lineup, but Ursa, even though he's not a ranged carry, even though he's not an Aura picker, we saw in the previous series just how nutty this hero is right now. Very, very, very strong, and obviously very good at countering the Dragon Knight in the laning phase. So if that was your intended offlaner, I mean, your Dragon Blood is really not an answer for Fury swipes, especially backed up by the powerful slows that Neets have secured for themselves. And we're going to see that Ursa Battle Fury come out. We're going to see the early timing with slight mid-game backup, and they're just going to push before the Morphling's ready.
Fair enough, but 40 seconds to go for Crossfire to get their final pick here. Their draft is flexible, but the final pick can't be. It's going to be Mars to cinch it all off. So what do you think here? Who's got the game one? These are really different drafts here because it is a support comp in the end as well. These heroes are just changing on up.
Yeah, the Mars pick obviously does relegate the Quap to support, and you saw how flexible that draft is, how big an advantage it is, how, like, much you have to respect the Queen of Pain. I do like both last picks a ton. This Ursa is going to be dominant, but I do think the Xavier Mars might be the game breaker. Looking at these heroes, they're so stagnant, so stationary on these supports, and these kinds of squishy backliners are the exact heroes Mars preys upon. The control of the arena is going to be huge. So I'm going to go with Crossfire, I think, for game one.
All right, fair enough. Taking the choice there, but I think Neet Uprising, they might have something here. A little bit of surprise. Maybe a bit of musical chairs. If they get the perfect matchups with the heroes, maybe it does go into Neet's favor.
Okay, yeah. What would be your favorable matchups?
Ursa against Mars, Venomancer against against Dragonon, I guess, and then Puck against the Morphling. I don't like those last two, though. Seems kind of do or don't.
I think the Ursa was a pick against the Dragon Knight specifically. That's the matchup you really want. And there we go. Oh, hang on, wait, no, TOONZ, what are you doing, TOONZ?
Oh, no, TOONZ! Oh, man, kill yourself. Hey, he's just looking disappointed in the corner there, man. What?
That's not the kind of coordination you need in these team fights. They better tighten up. They better go over to TOONZ and check out what's wrong with him. Does he have lag or something? The rest of them dying in perfect synchronicity at that load screen. But you know what doesn't die? It's WD Black. They are supporting us like endlessly through these seasons of LPL Pro, unwavering in their ability to sponsor and support these seasons of this tournament. So congratulations. Thank you for the efforts you put in.
Yes, high quality hardware doesn't mean you have to take any choices about the games you want. And right now, the game in front of us, it's looking pretty good. Xavier and Quap, a combination we don't see much in the off lane there. Mars and the Queen of Pain against, it seems like a Puck is top, that they are doing the musical lanes here. It's a Puck matchup.
Yeah, I mean, the musical lanes, I think, might last for a little bit, right? Because there's such polarizing matchups going on right now. It's not that Ursa's bad against Mars or anything, but like, you're certainly not the matchup you're looking for with these picks, and particularly the supports from Crossfire. From Neet's Uprising, you want to line up correctly against your opposition. I think they really love to get the Venomancer in lane with the Quap, for instance. You have to make sure that whichever lane the Mirana is roaming out of isn't exposed too hard by that absence.
They've seen Tackle. That Baosu has been shown. Reverie is hiding behind the tree. Tackle's trying to get vision of him. I think it did get a slight bit of vision here, but we've got to decide where these lanes go. I think Puck is firmly set in that top lane here. Tackle's kind of deciding. Ursa is going mid, so Juggernaut will be in for a surprise, but Spag slipping up those runes as well, securing a little bit of gold advantage for Neet Uprising as we start off.
Yeah, absolutely. Of course, the pre-game stuff is all just as much about morale as it is about, game-turning advantages, but you don't hate to see it. And now I think Neet's Uprising are definitely the team that have more pressure on them to capitalize on the laning phase, right? They have picked multiple very early game-focused heroes, and we'll want to see them, make kills out of that immediately.
Well, we'll see the effectiveness of it. Venomancer actually already put a point in Venom Scale. So there's no poison stings, there's no overall damage. They're looking for pain, and they're looking for damage if Morphling goes up a little bit too far, but Fury just making a nice little pressure up as Bouncy and Tobes secure the last hits here. It seems like they're looking for a bit of a stagnant lane in the bottom, not high kill potential between the Morphling and the Shadow Demon, is there?
Yeah, obviously, again, this is similar to the Spectre we saw in the first series of the night. Baosu maybe has a bit more kill potential than the Spectre on this morph once you skill the nukes up, but you'd still be happy just to have a very defensive lane where you focus on last hitting. And Shadow Demon, despite the potential damage of Shadow Poison, pretty much a defensive support. It's all about the disruption.
And disruption of Xavier's farming, it seems. Cozy manning up on the Puck in the safe lane this time. Safe lane Puck position, one Puck. Yeah, you haven't seen that for a while, but it's a change-up that Neet Uprising felt like they needed made, so they can make Riz go up against Rivery in the mid. The Ursa DK matchup, the matchup we were talking about here. Can it pay off? Because Rivery is playing very safe against Riz here.
Yeah, this is awesome. I love seeing this out of Neet Uprising. You see, Crossfire, you thought you could last pick an offlaner and switch your DK to mid to avoid this Ursa matchup? We will send the Ursa to the mid lane. Not the usual place you find the bear, but I mean, as long as you're up against this tanky melee hero, you're pretty much at home. The Breathe Fire is going to mean that the DK can secure last hits, but I think as the levels progress, we're going to need some ganks on this Ursa. We are going to see him take over the lane with the sheer threat of Fury Swipes and Earth Shot.
And Tackle just showing the sheer threat of the Venom. It's got the poison damage on the Morphling Arrow. Okay. That was a close one. Almost getting Bouncy, not going to actually land in the end. Now Tackle's going to have to run on back to get the poison. I don't know. Fury's trying to work it onto Bouncy, but Tackle looking for an opening. I think he's betting out. In fact, yeah, he goes back into Bouncy. Going to add the damage strength. Morphin again. Venom Scale, nice. Between Tackle's first blood already been given to Toes here, but can Fury get something in revenge? Bouncy's still getting some HP. In fact, he's buying out because I think he knows he's dead, but nope, not even going to die in the end. So Neet Uprising, they give up the first blood. They give actually up Cozy's Courier as well. So not a great start to this laning stage.
Yeah, big money Andros with that $200 Quap Arcana, nailing the Courier. Her incredible mobility and good attack range and attack speed make her perfect for this. Really just blessed in many ways as this hero.
In fact, they can find May because nice little dodge from phase shift, gets away from that dagger, and Xavier feeling a little bit of pressure, but he's got a soul rope. He's got 4 tangos and a self, and Cozy doesn't have much more. In fact, he doesn't have a courier to bring himself anything else, so it's a really good start for this offlane here. Andros is really effective on his Queen of Pain, and Xavier is just comfortably farming. The man's got top class hits, 14, and Andros isn't even scared of dying to Spags, as Shakira can't shut down this Queen of Pain.
Yeah, you're seeing the strength of us. Oh, that's a great spear. Hits him under the tree.
Nice bit. Can't finish him. Looks like Cosco's going for Andros. Creeps coming in. Spag wants to get find something. Nice blink away. It does get hit by Jewel Barrett, but doesn't literally matter. And Riz trying to pressure up on the Reverie. As soon as he tries to do anything, we've got the Dragon Tail ready to go. Just beat that bear, stun him up, and walk on back to safety.
Yeah, exactly. Reverie playing very coy here in the mid lane. I love the intent that you see in the Dragon Tail to hit creeps, right? You see what the Dragon Knight's priority is. He has no intention of brawling with this bear. He's just here for the creeps. Thank you very much. And now that Soul Ring's coming out, there'll be no end to this man.
Down shots going on the Fury. Could be careful about that. Bounce to very low playing around, but got 3 sacks of poison so far on Tekko. It won't be a 4, but it will be 4 onto Fury. No kill between them yet. 4 on the Venom Man. It's going to try and pop him off, but we're keeping everybody so low, but the selves are good. They keep us in the lane, so it's a really efficient gameplay. And even if we're talking a big game about Andros securing the couriers in the top lane to make sure that Kozi can't get any farm out, Fury is securing these couriers in the bottom lane to make sure that even TOONZ and Baosu can't get their region out. Baosu literally has 1 HP at this point.
Yeah, exactly. And Baosu is doing a great job on the Morphling. We mentioned the pressure that the Venomancer applies by constantly repoisoning to make it difficult for the true flexible Morph play to come out. As Reverie actually...
Riz is dead. Yeah, he just solo kills him under Riz's tower. He's taking tower shots at the same point of time.
And Dragon Blood.
Yeah, it's kind of scary. In fact, these couple lanes are looking scary. Reverie is a beast in a bad matchup, but maybe Bowser, who lost his courier again, will just be pressured by Tekko here. Venomancer isn't usually one of those heroes that is able to be pressured out pretty easily if you have some good setups here, because Tekko is really getting control and hasn't got any points in wards.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. The wards are debatably effective against these 2 range heroes. You just want to maximize the poison damage and really punish the Morphling, right? It's ultra-efficient damage dealing, and it means that the Morphling can't effectively switch stats to negate the damage, right? You can't just, like, shift to strength, brawl a bit, take some damage, switch back to Agi for last hitting, because you're constantly taking damage. And even though Bowser is managing these stats well, as the arrow comes in...
He's dead. If Fury gets it, he just goes from back on the trees. He did not expect it, and Bowser's gone. He gets his items this time because he's gone back to base, but that's a massive kill on the Morphling.
Yeah, they were doing a tremendous job of managing the pressure on the bottom lane, but I was already going to point out how much farm Bowser is losing. He's behind the Veno in last hits, and now he finally dies. You have to just give up a trick at some point. He's being assailed literally from all sides by these arrows and poison attacks, and this Morphling is not having a good time.
It seems like Vermez is doing exactly the job they wanted to do in the laning stage. A very effectual pickup here from Neet Uprising, but the other lanes, are they feeling just as effectual? You'd say all the net worths are basically even. The last hits are so close, but Riz isn't dominating his matchup. We've got a 700 gold difference towards Reverie on the DK, and we said that Neet Uprising, they kind of want this matchup. And Riz, he wants something, but he gets bashed on up. Dragon Tail comes on in, and he walks on back. Arrow is off the mark, and Riz gets nothing but his life because Reverie gave him a little bit of mercy.
Yeah, I feel bad. I may have underestimated Reverie. I thought that the Ursa would be the hero who'd be dominating this matchup, and it would be the Dragon Knight who needs help from rotations. But you see, like, Reverie focused on his farm. He knew his objectives, got that Soul Ring, and that spammable damage adds up. As
Arrow to Baosu. Beautiful. Just lands perfectly timed, but he should just survive, maybe. He can be denied, but they're still hitting him. They're going. Fury's jumping in for this. The ult is being popped for this, and they take him down. They don't sacrifice anyone in return unless TOONZ can land that poison again. No, it's fine. We've got the 1 charges, and Baosu is dead again. Maybe TOONZ too. He just came on in to secure a kill in reverse, but it ain't happening. Fury's already out of here, and Tekko is just loading on that poison. The man has disruption. He should not die, but a fantastic time in his bottom lane. And Kozi, he gets the kill top, but Reverie, he's trying to respond. Find Kozi in the tree. Starts to get the sunset. Jade for a trade. Andros goes down. Kozi gets traded back, but Puck getting slowed down. These cores are actually surprisingly dying in these lanes.
Yeah, exactly. I said Neet Uprising would have the lane advantage. At least in bottom, that's working out. They've done a great job of managing the experience points. I did a double take when Tekko cast the Poison Nova there, the ultimate of Venomancer, because he has such a level advantage suddenly here over the Morphling, who's only level 4. Oh, yeah. But yeah, their other lane's not going so well. Reverie getting that critical DD rune and getting the kill on Ursa in that close trade under the tower has really shifted the momentum in this mid lane. And top that's a tough assignment right now, given the way these heroes line up.
I mean, we are saying that it's not going as well, but the top 3 net worths, if you exclude Reverie, who's having an amazing game, is still Neet Uprising. They've got a fantastic gold spread. They've got items they can use. Bowser is being shut down quite a bit. Same with Xavier now. The man had a good start, but he hasn't got the same amount of farm. 2 range heroes are just able to hit down this Mars. So maybe your Ursa isn't exploding, but he's still getting the last hits. He's still getting the space. And Neet Uprising, they're still feeling pretty comfortable.
Yeah, the Ursa's probably doing better in the mid lane, despite that death to Reverie, than he would in the top lane, right? Facing up against this matchup that's, you know, if the puck is suffering, the Ursa would probably struggle, or at least be forced into risky all-in commitments, whereas this double-range hero lane is at least able to play kind of normal Dota against the Mars co-op, which is just brutal. That's like 2 heroes that can dominate the offlane solo, let alone working as a team. So now, though, we see TechCore finally start to scale up the wards. You get the feeling that maybe he's going to make this bottom lane his home for a little while, and it's going to be inhospitable for his guests from the Radiant.
Oh yeah, everybody's just abandoning it except for TOONZ. Bowser is hitting jungle creeps at this point to kind of get his items on up. So a nice shutdown of one lane, but still, Reverie is getting some pressure. He can make some space. He's got the Dragon Form, and I guess Mars of all heroes, he kind of just needs one item to get it worth. The man just works around his abilities. Whenever Arena's up, he can still get some stuff done.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those beautiful heroes where if you have no items, you are still an effective teamfight initiator, and you can technically still spell combo fragile support to death and kind of make these little plays that can get you back into the game. Of course, when Mars is ahead, you scale very well and you can become a pretty strong carry for your team. It just makes it a really useful pickup in general, and it looks like we might be scaled towards the strong side of things at the moment, given that he's done quite well out of the lanes.
Yeah, in fact, trying to pressure Kozi, who's sitting under his tier 1 tower. Won't be able to get the runes in the top, but they will be able to secure the runes in the bottom spag, just making sure they can claim that outpost and keep it there. But Riz, all right, he finds Bouncy, but he's going to be actually Strike Morphin. You can't get that kill that easily. So Bouncer is being seen at least in the lane here. Riz as well, just running back and forth. Going for Diffusal Blade on Earth, so a little bit of a different build here. We've been seeing the prioritize of Battle Fury.
Radiant's bottom tower is under
Yeah, well, Battle Fury makes the most sense as a safe lane, and when you're the mid lane Ursa, it's pretty clear the farm priority is not on you so much as the kill priority, so we're going to see a more traditional ganking Ursa. The other unusual part of this build, you'll notice, 0 points in overpower. So that traditional burst damage you see out of the Ursa has been completely sacrificed in favor of sort of reliable mobility of the Earth Shock and the ability to stack Fury Spikes on the DK.
Where's going mid? Bouncer does TP out. In fact, the sun coming from Reverie keeps him back. They're going to be chasing. Kozi could blink forward, but no, they're good. Bouncer literally just waveforms away, TP's out, and they have no way to cancel it. So everybody gets out safely. They force 4 heroes to rotate and give Xavier a pretty free lane in the top lane to recover the farm. He was lacking even pressure tower with the counterpult here.
under attack.
Yeah, Mars is a brilliant flash farmer, can just spam his first 2 abilities to basically insta-kill creep waves and then fall back into the jungle, so giving him space is a recipe for disaster if you leave him too long. But, you know, the pressure on Neet's mid is pretty free when you consider the Ursa's build. He doesn't really have kill potential. Oh, the great deny! Fury's so cheap.
He was just farming the creeps, and there he saw his Reverie come up. Like, I could arrow him, but I could just make him, let me deny the town. You know, get into his head. Play a little bit of mind games, because mind games is half the battle here when you're facing 2 really strong teams.
Yeah, so it's very interesting basically right now. They kind of got passive skill builds. They know that TechCore kind of wants to sit in this lane. The Ursa still has some farming to do. He's clearly not ready to fight if he hasn't skilled his W. He's still building that Diffusal Blade, but we see the first item on DK that was found here on the map is going to be a Blink Dagger, so Crossfire are going to force the tempo if Needs don't do something soon.
It seems like that needs to happen, because there is a 2k gold lead towards a very high tempo team. The Ursa, the Puck, the Venom, and so heroes that just want to form as 5 and march down these lanes. So DK will be the difference here, because Xavier, he's not even close to even deciding whether he wants to go Vlad's or whether he wants to go Blink himself. So if they make some space, if they use the Dragon Form, the Blink Dagger, the instant stun on the Puck could be an opening for a spear. So it seems like a fantastic idea, but Bowser, he's level 7. He doesn't have a Morbid Mask. TechCore just walks up, spits on him, and sends him all the way back to base. He wants to farm the ward, can't farm the ward, and now what's he left to farm? A camp? I don't know, but he is still getting pressured. 3,000 net worth, and Spag is waiting. Look at the man, he sees him, he's just messing with him. More strength morphin coming in, but top lane's where the action's at, because Kozi is actually going to get caught. The Blink Dagger reveal is massive, but the cancel on the TP is even bigger. Yep, put it down, the ult for the Venom. They've thrown down every single thing they've got. and that puck won't die in vain. The Morphling will be traded too. Both cores dead, but the TPs are coming in as well, just trying to get someone in return. Andros TP blinks a little bit forward, but it looks like everybody else is going to get the space. Rivery, he jumps in the ward, so he can't blink again for ages. Venom's going to be there. Tackle's going to actually keep himself in the area with Smack, just trying to slow these people down. The Spirit Vessel is going to be paying off because DK doesn't have a lot of HP, which means you've got a lot of damage in the back. But the movement speed is going to be there. Wards putting priority onto Andros for the moment. The arrow coming in from Fury is beautiful. And DK is going to go down. It took a while, but it took the champ down. And Riz, he's even here too. He saw back and just going straight. He saw Toes under the trees and going straight for him by Kossi. Kossi is just manning up against Xavier. In fact, he takes the spear to the back. He gets pinned, but he's got full mana, full magic damage, and blows Xavier away. The kills are coming for Neet. It was a 2k goal lead before, make it a 3, but it's now 4-8, and we're 14 minutes in, and we're pressuring the tier 2s. The tempo has started, and the game is getting controlled by Neet.
Yeah, look, as you said, a very high tempo lineup, and you definitely expect them to start making this sort of plays, but that was kind of a Crossfire assisted series of wins there. That went worse than Neets could really have forced on their own. Killing the Morphling, that's a result of very unfortunate timing. Crossfire had already committed to a similar move on the top lane, and what was initially just the Venomancer applying the kind of passive pressure that he does and zoning the Morphling out of lane, when they realize all the other heroes are committed top, they just dive in, and I don't know, Baosu's teleport, maybe he would have died anyway, but he kind of assumed that they would fall back, and they had no reason to because they knew there were no teleports coming in, even as they dive past the tier 2. They secure the enemy carry, and then as the fight re-engages here in mid,
Ace Rune Dragon Knight. Actually, Tech will try and do some damage. Jared's going to miss, but the Dragon Knight moves so fast, so I don't think you're going to land it even if you tried. So no kills between them. Bravery pops his Dragon form again, which is pretty big. It's 104 seconds, and he's not getting much more than a couple wards out of it. So you did defend your tower, but you forced Crossfire to use some pretty long cooldown abilities.
Yeah, this is absolutely brutal. Referee got the arrow hitting Mars.
He's just hiding in a tree. The arrow again. This one is perfect, but disruption save. Tepka coming in. It's a save just to die as soon as you come on out. So Xavier will be delivered back to Neet on a silver platter, and so will the tier 1-2. So the mid tower going. Reverie farming the creeps, getting the bounties. Baosu is trying to farm. So actually, Kossi just killed him. Kossi just killed him. It was just top pushing the lane in, and because of Moonlight Shadow, he surprised him and blew him up. That's 2 cores dead in a matter of minutes. It didn't even have to go that way.
Baosu's game is starting to become disastrous. Like, you can take a couple of deaths on Morphling, he can kind of find a catch up, but now you're at this position where you're vulnerable to almost any hero from Neets finding you farming. It becomes very difficult, right? Neets are going to have a lot of map control going forward from this Venomancer and from these highly mobile cores, and it's going to be difficult to find space for this Morphling when you're already trying to farm up 2 other heroes. The Blink Dagger pickup on Reverie has totally backfired. I love the idea of it freeing up the Mars to go a different first item, but now when you lose 2 of the first 3 engagements you take with it, the gold spent on that item is like rotting.
Yeah, it seems to me you're just giving the gold back to Neets because now they've got top 2 net worths. The Venomancer, tackle Riz on his Ursa, who kind of lost mid, but doesn't seem like that anymore. They're beating both the Dragon Knights, so the Blink Dagger's not really paying off. Even Kossi is almost equal, and the other 2 cores, if we're talking about Baosu and Xavier, they're not doing too hot either. So what do they need to do here to get some control back in the game?
One of your cores kind of needs to be a sacrifice at this point, and it's difficult to choose who. I don't think you want Reverie to completely fall out of the game, so maybe it needs to be the Mars. Maybe the Mars, you need to take the 2 supports, and you need to try and make smoke plays or other plays deep in the jungle. One, to try and find these supports, right? Like, these heroes are very vulnerable. Even the Puck, very low hit point heroes that you can easily blow up, especially if you catch, say, the Jakiro with an arena. And that's some good kill money for your team. But moreover, you will make space behind where you're making that play for your carries, which they absolutely need.
Found again. He's TPing out. He's doing his classic Baosu play, which is waveform to TP and just stand there while you play and get back to base. So Baosu doesn't die again. He survives, which is kind of big, but he's still not farming. He's in the base. His net worth is falling even further behind. In fact, Fury's about to overtake him, which is really not a good feeling. And Xavier and Tobes look like together they want to get maybe a pick off, but at the same point of time, Neet Uprising, they're basically all together. The only hero by himself is Riz, and that's not an easy kill to get.
Looks like they're making a 4-hero version of the play that I anticipated, but actually they just teleport Reverie out. They do not want to tangle that deep in the dire jungle, and while that was probably the right decision in that moment, you you need to make something happen. So if you're retreating from every possible play, you know, you're not winning the game by just preserving your lives. As
he's about again. Oh no, it's Silence taking out Bones and magical damage. Man is just being traced across the map. He doesn't get any space. There is no space for Bouncer. It doesn't matter what space Crossfire makes. Neet Uprising just beeline and focus onto him, but Moonlight Shadow coming out. Looks like they're trying to push in the mid lane. Andros is getting Diffuser Blade up. In fact, he will be able to blink a TP back for the mid lane. Seems to be where the action is coming in. While Tackle, Fury, Spag all set up around this tier 2. The defense doesn't exactly seem like it's going to be there because Reverie hasn't blinked, but he's just hiding back, hoping they don't break it, but Tackle finds him. He puts the wall down, he's going to break the blink and keep him back. So now Reverie needs to go back, but the arena's going to be there. They pin Tekkor to the wall, but can they even kill him yet? No, he's out. He pops his ult. He's got the Spirit Bouncing Bouncer. He's going to come in and try and get a kill back, but the man picked up a hood. He stays long enough to get some charge on the Spirit Bouncer, get himself a Dragonite, and our Bouncer, who waveformed in, he's just going to get control on that. You don't have the Spirit Bouncer for him, but you do have the Dream Call and the blast damage from Kosi. Yes, silencing Bouncer again. The man is not even having a game, but Neet Uprising, they are dominating this game. Riz just going to be able to take himself the Aegis. All the lane's going to be pressured. Everything is coming up Neet Uprising, and that just works out for the 10k gold lead that they have.
This is such a great targeted takedown of Crossfire's draft by Neet Uprising again. That strategic edge, they're such an experienced team. Explosive Fury, such a strong captain coming to the fore. They haven't even taken the tier 1 top. They are so targeted, but look at the perimeter of wards that are established around bottom. You mentioned Bowser not being able to get out of the base. How does he do that? Like, the death line, that informal concept in Dota strategy, like, you can only go this far beyond your base, lest you forfeit your life. It's been drawn so tightly by that ring of wards around the Radiant base that there is no room for Morphling to farm at all.
Well, you buy yourself a smoke, and then you smoke into their jungle, and you just hit their triangle. And that'll work. They will never find you there.
I mean, never might be a strong exaggeration, but actually I don't think that's too bad a plan, right? Like, Baosu is probably at about that point right now that you take that gamble, because it's better than dying in your own jungle or just outside where your own tier 2 tower used to be a bottom lane over and over again.
Well, Tekkor's been found. Arena's going to place him in place, but can you even kill him? That's the question we've been asking ourselves for ages, and with everything being put at him, the answer is maybe. He's still alive. 5 heroes against Tekkor. Consequence comes in, Tekkor just blows them away. Bouncer has no HP, and he's just got to be put on down. Tekkor will be traded, but Bouncer is dead again. It seems to be the theme of this game. And the other theme is running away once Neet Uprising joins the fight. 3 dead. Xavier, Andros put down, sent back to the fountain, and Neet Uprising charging, getting themselves totes, getting themselves 4 kills, and just taking complete control of this game. That 10k is out 13. We're only 20 minutes in. The lanes are pushed in. I'm worried about this thing. I don't think Bouncy will get any space. I don't think Reverie with the farm he's got can do anything with it.
No, Reverie committed to that early blink dagger, and that's a commitment to getting kills. That's a commitment to your team setting the tempo. We mentioned how bold that was from Crossfire, that they would take the tempo away from Neet Uprising's lineup that's clearly designed for their whole team to do that kind of thing. It turned out to maybe be a little too bold, right? Like, you're trying to beat the opponents at their own game, but that is what their whole draft is set up to do, and they have viciously punished Crossfire because now this Dragon Knight cannot keep up anymore, and the other 2 cores were never in the race to begin with.
Nope. They've just tripped over from the start and never got back on up, but everybody else feeling real comfortable. Fury's currently got more farm than Xavier and Bouncy, and both supports, but I think we knew this from how the game is going, and Xavier, I mean, he's there. Fury doesn't really care, but Rez is going to jump onto him. He does get speared back. Disruption's going to be saving him for now, but how long can he save him and keep him alive? Blink Dagger back to safety. Okay, in fact, he might survive this one, which is fantastic news for Crossfire, but still, you're behind your tier 2 tower, you're not hitting creeps. Baosu is where? He's in his triangle, and he's now being isolated bottom. Yeah, in fact, he's getting kicked out himself. Double damage has been found because he's in forward position, looking for a nice little opening that they can get. And Baosu, he's left. He's gone down bottom to find the couple creeps that are left in this bottom lane, but still, your tower's about to melt. The gold lead is going to keep on coming. Tekkor's getting even bigger and bigger and bigger. And right now, Baosu is trying to farm up a Manta. He's got 1,000 gold away from the ultimate orb, and then it's up 500 on top of that for the Manta. And Grizz, he's got Diffuser Blade, a Basher. He's still got the Aegis. You don't have a tier 2 tower. Neet Uprising, I don't think they're scared of anything you've got.
I would be forcing high ground if I was them right now. Like, Baosu is out of the game. He will not... I don't want to say never, but like it's going to be 15 minutes before this Morphling can do anything, right? Like, and you can't even go the traditional shotgun build at this point because there's just no one to really kill on Neet Uprising. I mentioned being able to make ganks on the squishier supports, but I mean, at this point, even the supports are quite hard to kill, and they've only been finding Tech Core. I'm going to need to go into play after the game about how great Tech Core's game has been. He's definite MVP here, but he's proven repeatedly too hard to kill. The trades are not worth it as they mop up Andros in the top lane, trying to cut creeps, I guess. Do something to distract the Neet Uprising team.
Yeah, delayed game. That seems to be the name of the game right here. Baosu is going top for the creeps that eventually come. The moves are coming, but the creeps aren't coming too. Referee, he gets a little bit of space in bottom lane. Tackle is going to keep this lane pushed on in, just isolate, suffocate, and then destroy. It seems Neet Uprising are going to do. So, is there a move that Crossfire can kind of make? Do they just have to wait for a mistake high ground?
Top tower is under attack.
Yeah, I think it is pretty much back to high ground gaming at this point. The heroes just do not have the capacity to fight them.
Oh no, he's been gone. He's got Spirit Vessel, he's got destroyed, and he dies again. He tried to get a couple creeps, but those creeps led to his death, and another tier 2 tower taken by Neet Uprising. It doesn't even stop. Reverie is trying to, I don't know, force the tier 1 tower bottom so somebody TP's back, but do they even care?
Reverie's trying to farm a BKB right now. Like, that's his queued up item. It's the most, obviously the most impact item you can buy on just about any hero in Dota, especially Dragon Knight. And maybe with that, they can take the higher ground defense, right? If he's able to shrug off all of the magic, the puck, the Jakiro, the Veno, even the Mirana is largely magical damage still. So, I mean, if you had BKB on all these Crossfire, of course it would be an even game, but they are so far off on the others that Reverie has to be the one to carry the burden.
He's almost there. It seems to be only about 300 gold in between him having that BKB and being a dominant force. Again, Tackle did TP back to force that wave in, so they're not even going to get a tier 1 tower for their troubles. Reverie probably just going to instantly TP out if he doesn't see anybody on the map. But right now, Neet Uprising, they're still suffocating the map. They've got Fury, they've got Spag present in their jungle, in their triangle, securing those runes. All 4 runes are going to be Neet Uprising again, so the gold just keeps on coming. It becomes 17k gold lead, and Andros trying to cut the wave again. He's going to be dream called and delivered back to Neet Uprising. So another kill on the board by 622. We're 18k, and I guess it's more positive with what Andros is doing rather than negative.
Yeah. I think, you know, what he's doing is buying space for his cores. His cores are farming, and this is very important. This is basically the only thing he can do at this point, but he has a pretty unsavory job to do. You don't enjoy playing like this as a support.
No, you don't. You don't enjoy being TOONZ right now. What does he do? He can't do anything, man. It's what he's saying. It's just Riz running you down. The Fuse Blade Basher is a hell of a combo.
Yeah, and now the Ursa is finishing Abyssal Blade. This is starting to get very scary, right? Like I mentioned, the BKB, it's a big item for the Dragon Knight, but like Dragon Knight with BKB plus an item at this point is a pretty scary damage dealer. But he's got plus a Blink. That's not like really an item in terms of working out combat. And now, oh my god, he just gets bashed.
Reverie. Oh, okay, BKB 4. Oh, there you go. That's your 4,000 gold item forced when you didn't need to. Oh, man.
Brutal. That's even worse than I was going to speculate. I was going to point out that they have so much BKB piercing stuff with Bash, the puck ags potentially.
Bounce isn't caught again though. Arena save. This might be a good initiation because Cos comes in and turns it completely the other way. Xavier is standing tall. Bounce is getting out. The Sonic Wave is fantastic. He gets him so low. Angel's trying to finish him off, but he can't do it. The poison is too much. The regen is there. Riz doesn't even die. And now you just move forward. Your dream call up. TOONZ does dodge one arrow. But what more can he dodge? He's just dead. Ice Barbs finish that man off. He's in a cold, icy grave. And Neet Uprising is going to put the wards down and take your tier 3 tower the slow way, but it will fall.
Yeah, Venomancer unfortunately tends to win games the same way that he, you know, his poison gets killed slowly, agonizingly, and yet inexorably as the base begins to fall.
He went too far forward. Yep, he does. He ran out of water, and it turns out ice can freeze.
It's getting to the point where I'm almost glad that this game is ending, because otherwise I'd be worried about Bowser's ability to play game 2. He might come in pre-tilted and just have the same experience.
He called it. GG, it's called. Neet Uprising take game 1 against Crossfire here in a pretty dominant fashion. Let's say the draft really paid off.
Yeah, I mean, for all that we made a big deal out of FFYV2 stomping and really just like taking a commanding win in the first series, that match was far more lopsided than either of those initial games in our first series of the night. So that is a chilling omen for Crossfire in what was supposed to be a close rivalry.
Yeah, it seemed like we had two very different strategies. It looks like Crossfire was trying to outplay Neet Uprising in the drafting. They were trying to put the Quap out to bait out a few more picks. Then they put the DK out to bait out those picks. But it seems like Neet Uprising, they didn't care. They had a draft pretty much focused, and they still counted basically every single one of those heroes.
Yeah, the difference maker here in this game, TechCore, 100%. Not to say anyone else played badly. Fury in particular played great on the Mirana, hitting huge arrows, getting those couriers nice. But look, not everyone can play Core Venomancer like that, right? Like, the hero is very unique and very specific. It requires a delicate balance between map control. You obviously have to constantly know how strong you are. It's almost like a baiting game, convincing people to fight you. But the ability to just pressure and pressure and pressure and pressure this Morphling without ever overcommitting is so powerful when you do it right. And you just saw TechCore take over swaths of the map. Towards the end of the game, he was just in mid outside the tier 3 tower, completely alone. He just had like a pipe. He doesn't have a blink or a BKB or anything else. If a couple of heroes jump him, he might die theoretically. But every time they did try and jump him, they lost like 4 heroes because he's able to stay alive long enough, castle his spells. It's already a punishing idea to go on a support Venomancer. But when you have a core Veno who's the enemy's highest net worth, you want to target him, but you can't. It's just never the answer. So really, we saw Crossfire struggle to get their way out of that situation once he took over the laning phase.
Well, we'll see if they can struggle their way to a victory, because Game 2 is coming up. It's looking big, and I'm excited to see it. And we're going to see it after this short break. And we are back after a dominant showing from Neet Uprising, proving that they could overcome Crossfire with one fantastic draft. We are getting ready for a Game 2, and I'm super excited for that. Game was insane.
Absolutely. Neet Uprising, you have to wonder whether or not splitting their rubber with AGN last week kind of put the fire into them. They are our defending champions, and we've seen some very strong contenders arise in FFYV2 and Oracle. And even though those teams haven't played Neets yet, you get the sense that Neets went back to the drawing board and said, we need to up our game here. So now they've come in the next week against Crossfire, their traditional rivals. They've lost games to them before. They did not look anywhere close to losing in Game 1.
Oh, no. They seem to have just got Crossfire's no. Every single move they made, except for the mid matchup, but then that didn't really matter in the end. Reverie fell on out. Riz may have lost that matchup, but the man doesn't usually play mid, and he just farmed a few creeps and then went to farm all the heroes.
Yeah, it seemed like Reverie kind of maybe got a moment of overconfidence from winning that mid matchup against the Ursa. It's not a decided thing either way. With the luck of a few runes and maybe a bit of personal outplay, you got the advantage. But then buying that Blink Dagger, I don't think it was a bad decision on its face, but it basically immediately backfired, and Crossfire, you could argue, lost the game from that point on after their first couple of moves went bad, because the Dragon Knight was their only hero doing well, and his gold ended up being basically wasted.
Well, we're going to find out the moves are a little bit better in Game 2, because we're straight in the action. In fact, we've already seen 2 moves. Crossfire, they're going down with the Oracle, and Neet Uprising, they're going back for their comfortable pick, Mirana. Fury back on that Mirana.
Yeah, basically the same bans as Game 1 as well. These two teams know each other very well, of course, so I don't think just one game, even a game as decisive as that, is going to alter what they think the strategically correct bans. But interesting to see the Oracle draft opener from Crossfire. Perhaps this is a pocket draft they have prepared.
Well, Oracle does seem to be effective whenever it does get picked up. Speaking of Team Oracle, they've been able to dominate the games with it, and it does really counter what put out. Speaking of which, if you do pick the Venomancer this time, I don't think you're going to do as much damage as you did before.
Yeah, true. Definitely opening with the hard dispel, maybe giving you a little sense of insurance against what was just done to you by TechCore. Masterpiece display on that Veno offlaner, but there's no reason to go back to that. We know that the Neet Uprising have a deep hero pool. I'm sure they're just going to bust out a different draft this game for Game 2.
Speaking of different drafts, Wind Ranger, hero we don't see that much, but is quite effective, especially does scale really well, and hell, the hero is flexible in itself, so it seems like a great pick for Crossfire.
Yeah, the hero has shown its potential in this patch to be a strong offlaner. Int offlaners have kind of come into fashion again to exploit certain melee cores that were previously very popular. Obviously, just as a ranged hero, you have a certain advantage that's very hard to overcome. That being said, picking it up second pick in the draft, the hero can be countered, and we see the Queen of Pain coming out immediately for the Neets. You have to wonder whether Windranger is going to be forced back into a support role, much like the Clockwork that we saw early picked in the first series of the day. And I mean, you look how the lanes ended up for TOONZ REBORN on that one, so a bit of a worry there for Crossfire's draft.
It does, but the band seems to be a little bit more targeted. We've got DP going away, so the pushing power of River, which is a comfort hero of his, is not gonna happen. But Crossfire, they're holding back their bands right now. Okay, Ursa's being taken out. We're not going to be run all over by Riz again, and third pick's going to be theirs. Do we need to maybe go a little bit more tankiness? Because Oracle, Windranger, they don't bring too much survivability to your squad. I mean, tankability.
Yeah, that's obviously the big gap in their lineup right now. Obviously, you've got 3 picks to repair it. And honestly, in terms of squishy ints heroes, Windranger has the mobility and even the slight defensive power in the wind run to somewhat play her own game. But you would like to create some shape in your team fights. This hero isn't really going to do that, though.
Ember Spirit, a Baosu favorite. We know he loves it, and Rivery can pick that man up himself. They both know how to play it comfortably. It seems to be one of the typical answers to Quomp in the mid lane these days is just put an Ember there.
Yeah, Ember's just so strong in the mid lane, and the thing is, it's pretty hard, even for a Queen of Pain, to avoid the consistent damage it comes out with the Sleight of Fist. Obviously, the Sleight of Fist has received a lot of buffs, and now you can just kind of max that out as not just a farming tool, but kind of a lane dominance tool. It's just very consistent damage over time that eventually shoves the enemy mid laner out. At the very least, if this is Kozi's signature Quap, she's well equipped to rotate and kind of make the sunshine in other lanes, but Ember Spirit going to become a threat pretty much no matter what you do scaling in the mid game, and you can pick up that Aghanims if you want, which is going to be a great bit of fighting kit for Crossfire. I do still think you want a proper initiator though, to back up the sort of slight chains and shackle shots that you have here.
Speaking of initiators, it's the big man himself. We've got the Ogre coming out, so good stuns, good damage, fantastic, fuel for your carry, which is always really useful, and maybe not too popular in this season so far, but Ogre is always that comfort pick for Spag.
Yeah, exactly. It's very, very, very likely to be Spag's hero, but there is always the slight inkling that Tech Core could play it, right? Like it's almost a similar core to Venomancer in that it's really about making a lot out of a sort of small amount of potential the hero has. You do a couple of things very well, and the main thing is not die, but we have seen some teams enjoy picking this hero up in the offlane role, and it gives you a great mid-game timing if you want to, sort of find that opening based on what Crossfire draft. If not, it falls into a support position and you just lean on the Blood Rage as one of the most potent buffs in Dota 2.
That's true. It gives you a whole bunch of flexibility in your drafting, especially in carry. But speaking of carries, we don't even need one when we're pricking Tree and Protect. The man gives you armor, so Ember is going to be feeling comfortable in whatever lane he is in. And it seems like a pretty good Tree and Protector game. Ogre can't really stop him. Marana can throw some arrows, but then, the man can just juke it between the trees. He's going to have a fun one.
Yeah, if you do want to commit to a Windranger offlane, Tree Protector is a great way to shore that up. It's obviously a really dominant 4-position hero or offlane support hero, much better at harassing enemy carries and kind of preventing all-ins onto offlaners than it isn't properly protecting a safe lane carry, but you've got an Oracle for that. So it looks like their lanes are set up quite well right now, regardless of whether this, Windranger is mid and Ember safe lane, or Windranger offlane and Ember mid. It's all going to depend on this last pick.
Yes, the 4th pick is coming up too. It seems to be pretty amazing because we haven't given up too much of the draft. We assume Kozi is playing the Queen of Pain, but it doesn't mean Kozi is playing the Queen of Pain or playing the Queen of Pain in the mid lane. It could be flexible here, and Neet Uprising, they're leaving their opens. Is there anything that jumps out at you that maybe Riz could play or Tech or really just comfortable that counters both Tree and Ember here?
I'm kind of liking Faceless Void, actually. It's still in the pool. You do have a slight counter to it in Treant, who can usually sit outside of where the Chronosphere is going to be and apply that BKB piercing route, but Faceless Void's often by Manta, so you easily have ways out of it. And with the Chronosphere, you have a great counter to both Windranger and Ember Spirit. Void's falling down as a carry is often that he doesn't have enough damage output or enough farming speed, just like lacks a steroid ability that lets him scale up his attack output in both scenarios. But of course, Ogre Magi, dovetails very nicely with that. You slap the Bloodlust on the Void, not only is he going to farm much faster, but with just 1 or 2 items, you get that Maelstrom or something, suddenly you do have the solo kill potential within your Chronosphere, especially on these squishy heroes. So,
yeah,
go back to the Dazzle.
I was not expecting that one, but is it core or support Dazzle here, though?
I mean, I think they're still playing coy. This is still a flex slot in the draft. I think the most likely arrangement is probably either mid-quap offlane Ogre support Dazzle, because Dazzle Ogre, man, what a difficult lane to play against. Or you could do offlane quap and mid Dazzle if you want to play a support Ogre still. That's on the table. Mid Dazzle can be very strong. Great Necrobook buyer, which is probably the strongest item in the patch. And, you know, if you end up buying multiple Necrobooks, your Quap can buy one as well. Suddenly you're kind of just ramshackled together a push lineup for yourself.
Yeah, and to be fair as well, Dazzle is really strong against the Ember. Ember loves, you know, dodging a little bit of magical damage, but the poison touch with the physical damage on top, he can destroy him in the lane.
That is true. So it could be a situation like we saw last game. We saw Neet's Uprising just determined to send Riz's Ursa to whichever lane the Dragon Knight ended up in, even if it meant sending him to the unfamiliar mid lane against Reverie. Maybe it's the same idea here. You're just going to, whatever Ember Spirit goes to, Dazzle, you're playing man coverage. That's your assignment for today. You go, hunt him down, slap that poison touch on, make his lane hell. I don't mind that.
Well, fair enough, but Crossfire, they're minding their bans. Okay, it's Troll. Troll's going out as the last carry, which would work well with Dazzle. A little bit of save, no room for maybe an Axe to cancel it through. Would make sure your carry could do a whole bunch of damage. And that's an angle that Neet Uprising really haven't really shown yet, is what carry can work with the Grave, with the heroes that they've got. And you said Void. Is there anything else that might be able to suit that same build?
I think if you're going to go with something else, you want it to be like a tower hitter, because that's the other thing that they lack right now. You either a Void would be a dominant team fighter, and then your game plan is clearly to either have the enemy team unable to defend their towers because of the threat of the team fight, or to simply win the team fight and then destroy the base. But if you go for something that's a safe sieger, you can use that to knock the towers down, and they go for the Spectre. So similar idea to the Void, actually. You're less reliant on hitting that Chronosphere. You pretty much can't miss Haunt, but you are more vulnerable in the lane, and you do have a bit of a longer run-up, even with the increased farm speed from Bloodlust.
Well, the one thing they did also do was ban out Viper, so you can't counteract it with this, but you've seen the Spectre, you've seen the late game focus from Neet Uprising. Does Crossfire pick something that's really just high tempo and high impact for maybe just Reverie to take hold of?
You could pick like a Tusk, maybe. Something like that as your offlaner. I've been quite swayed by if you want to put the Wind Ranger back into mid. It depends which matchups you favor, right? You ideally want to dodge the Dazzle, and given that Baosu is such a comfortable Ember Spirit player, I think the Ember Spirit in the safe lane is their best bet, where you can at least have a support to purge off the Poison Touch. But they go for the Visage. All right.
That is a hero we haven't seen at all. What do you think? Is Visage enough? Mega push towers?
Ranger? Yeah.
Mid lane Visage. It's also against I guess we haven't shown any lanes from Neet Uprising yet. It could be against anything, but it does give him a very early timing for their draft.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, obviously, you've got a little bit of late game insurance. Baosu on the Ember Spirit, Xavier on the Wind Ranger are both going to scale up. Oracle is a very powerful late game support. Even Treant, it really depends how his game goes, but if you end up playing that like split pushing game, if you even manage to get your way to an Aghanims, God forbid, then you know, Treant can do weird things in the late game with his just map control ability, but certainly you don't want to go late against a Spectre draft. You would rather just run them over with this Visage in the mid-game. We'll see whether Crossfire are up to it.
Well, do you think they are up to it? Do you think they're going to be able to take this game? Did it have such a snowball that really can't stop it with a Dazzle, Queen of Pain, Murano? Got to mention that. They had some pretty good pushback.
I'm actually going to go with the Neets here. I think given these teams of equal skill level, I think Crossfire have a delicate line to walk. Like you said, this Reverie Visage does push them more towards wanting to be the early aggressors, which means they need to win their lanes, and then they kind of need to compromise on the usual item builds of their heroes a little bit to make sure that they hit that timing. Like Xavier won't mind. You can just rush your MKB if you're doing well in this Wind Ranger, but you are the off lane, so that'll be kind of tricky. Baosu, I'm not sure what he's going to build, whether you kind of rush a Radiance or something, or an Ag, something that would bring you online early. Do you go Deso for tower push, or do you like play the super late game, your team's insurance, kind of like the enemy Spectre will be? Neets don't have to worry about any of that. They're just going to try and put a spanner in the Crossfire works for as long as possible, and eventually Riz will most likely take over for this game if his farm's not impeded.
Yeah, enough. Well, game 2 of this best of 2 series between Whew, Neet, Uprising and Crossfire. It is feeling massive. Game 1 was massive, but while we're loading in, we'd like to take an opportunity to thank our final sponsor for tonight, the New Zealand Defence Force. New Zealand Defence Force is recruiting for roles across the Army, the Navy and the Air Force. And for more information, we just want to visit defencecareers.mil.nz, and we thank them for their support of this season of LPL.
Prepare for battle.
Absolutely, and of course, hopefully for many more LPL seasons to come, so that we can continue to watch this little Oz Classico matchup between Crossfire and Neets. These players know each other so well. You can see it reflected in the bans, in the play, and a little bit of the emotes and the trash talk that came out in Game 1. They kept it restrained, but you know that Balsu is just boiling over in this game. He is going to try and go off on his signature hero and avenge that humiliating Game 1 defeat.
Oh yeah, they just focused down a bit. Balsu made sure he couldn't do anything in the lane. Those arrows were always aimed for the man himself. So really keeping the pressure on the Ember Spirit, which is another hero that the man's been able to dominate in every single season, every single game that we've seen him play it. He knows how to play Ember and how to play it in bad matchups too. So they'll be interested to see how he does. But right now, Tekor, Fury, they're setting up in the top lane just for a nice little surprise to seal this rune away from both Balsu. It looks like Visage is sitting up mid, so not really caring. And I guess that's one of the downsides of having a Visage here. Your level 1 opportunity isn't that great. The man needs a good start in his mid lane, so he can't really help you seal these runes on the side.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's not really enough reason to not pick the hero, but, you know, I think Neet Uprising are going to know and take advantage. Interesting that it is, in fact, what we expected. They are just covering this Ember with this Dazzle. It'll be Tech Core on the core Dazzle after his dominant performance in Game 1.
Boys game out. Rune being stolen. Spark can actually slip on in and get that rune himself. The first blood is drawn. Tekor takes a dive, and Rivery actually does show up in the end. He just pops him out, goes back to the mid lane, feeling a little bit happy with a great start for himself. Fury throwing a few arrows left and right, but I don't think it does. Okay, it does. It just hits TOONZ in the back. The man's trying to hold him back for now, but I think Fury knows he's got it. I know high ground miss for the man himself. So 1-1 between them, but the first blood is straight for the Visage. Hey, Balsu.
Yeah, and wow, Tekor immediately kills Balsu.
Huh? Oh, okay.
Well, he ran into the lane, but his Oracle... Yeah.
Wasn't that?
His Oracle was kind of preoccupied, so there was nothing to purge the Poison Touch. That whole thing that we discussed pre-game didn't happen. So, in that case, Ember Spirit just dies.
That's not a good thing. And speaking of lanes in the bottom lane, Xavier's already taken away half the trees in the bottom lane, so Andros doesn't have much to work with, but he is doing a little bit of work. Just hitting down back. Actually, Andros is just hanging back and back. It's feeling really comfortable here.
Yeah, great start for Neet Uprising so far with these lanes. It's going to be difficult for them to really pressure the Spectre with the huge bodyguard of the Ogre looming over them. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Balsu is going to have a much harder time. Oracle can, purge off the Poison Touch like that, but that only restricts the damage. You can't really push Tekor and Fury out of the lane, and if once Fury gets started, we saw how much work he did on the Mirana last game. He's an unsung hero of this lane.
Oh, yeah. Arrow just perfectly to Balsu. He is so low, you've got to be careful. TOONZ is just having to respond to the backside, and Fury doesn't care. He keeps Balsu out, brings some even more regen, but I guess one of the benefits here is just the TOONZ factor. The fact you have Oracle, you have the regen, you have the purge. He needs to be on point in this laning stage to make sure Balsu can survive it.
Yeah, but the issue is he actually doesn't have much of that right now. He has the Purge. and that's it. Right? Like, Oracle's here at his level. He's not going to do it. He dies again.
He's gone. They take it out. Tekor gets the Poison Touch. Instantly comes out. As soon as you can't purge it, it goes straight for the Balsu, and he doesn't have a side fist to dodge it. He will be just running back behind his tower, but the pressure is so much in the top lane. It's insane. And Balsu, yeah, the gold lead is building up a little bit. It's only the lane stage, and maybe it's just the early power spike, and with a few more levels, Balsu can feel a little bit more comfortable.
Yeah, look, I mentioned that what happens before the runes are at the bounty runes isn't that impactful on the game, but this might be an exception. Those early kills meant that the Neet Uprising offlane hit level 2 significantly before Balsu and TOONZ, and that results in another TOONZ kill and Balsu being heavily restricted already. You can kind of see this starting to impact the laning phase, the advantage, like the dominoes falling over larger and larger and starting to make things hard for Balsu already.
Andros, he's getting gone one. Okay, he can't go back into the trees between him, and it seems like Riz should be able to finish him off with the Nature's Grass. It won't be able to save him, and Andros is delivered back to the team, so another kill. It's a 4-1 victory right now. Xavier couldn't do a single thing to stop it. The man's got Power Shot, he's got Wind Run, but he doesn't have any save.
Yeah, I mean, Spectre is definitely one of the weaker laning heroes in Dota, but that's not to say that Spectre is completely useless, right? Like, the Desolate in particular, quite strong at dealing damage if Spectre's allowed to hit sort of unimpeded, and the Ogre being such a strong laning hero is kind of what allows that. So hidden strength in this lane, especially once you start to get that Spectre's attack speed buffed up with Bloodlust and a few more levels in the pure damage dealing passive, you know, things are going to be dangerous for the Windrunner.
It is true, and Tackle is literally just focusing down Bowser every single time it goes to last hit. He's not even focusing on denying going for the range creep. He's like, okay, I'm just going to hit Bowser a whole bunch. Nice little side of fist to try and dodge the clarity. It might give away the fact they have vision, but it's going to give away the fact they're going on Riz right now. Nice stun back on Andros. Keeps him back, but he is pursuing. He moves a little bit too slow to chase the Ghost Lady down, but the pressure is still mounting onto Riz, running out of regen. Spag doesn't have too much to share himself, so these lanes are going pretty, you know, reflective. Maybe Xavier isn't getting as much pressure as Bowser's having, but Xavier is sitting strong and farming up a very good timing for the Necronomicon.
Yeah, pretty much every single offlaner nowadays rushing this Necro regardless of what items you might normally buy on the hero. So Windrunner, no different. And, you know, Spectre, both teams have picked weak laning carry, so... Oh.
Mid lane. Yeah. Fury
making the rotation.
And he got the Visage.
So good.
Yeah, as soon as you see him off the map, he's making plays. Man can't be slowed on down, so he's already pressured up Bowser. Now he's going to pressure up River, who was actually winning the mid lane for a little bit. The only gold start that he got was mounted up for the arrow again from Fury. Perfectly timed. It's going to get him in time. He's running to him, but he can't save him. The killing spree for Dazzle. This Fury Mirana is insane. I'm feeling it's ban-worthy at this point.
I mean, you got... Oh, hang on. Xavier over in the bottom lane. Has to win run defensively. You have to imagine Xavier stuck in the off-lane role is looking at this Mirana pick and feeling so envious, right? Like, this is his hero. We've spent seasons crowing about Xavier's Mirana and his arrows and his game impact, and now Fury is just kind of turning it on.
That's right. He'll leave him too on by himself, but then again, he's on a big playmaking hero himself in the Wind Ranger, so maybe if he gets a little bit of farm this game, he should be able to have a bigger impact than the Mars was, because he's got what? He's got 23 last hits. He's basically even with the Spectre. He's having a good game. So he can maybe throw a little bit more influence into this and dictate it. Maybe he can make a rotation top to pressure up Tech, or maybe they can pressure up Riz like this with the Nature's Grasp. Anything more they've got to start back on the Andros to go the dagger to break the clarity onto Xavier. So the kills aren't coming, but the pressure is still there.
Yeah, the interesting part is that by going the Necronomicon on the Wind Ranger, I almost wonder whether they're limiting Xavier's potential to kind of explode out of this laning phase. He is doing the best out of all of Crossfire's cores right now. He's the one who has a clearly winning lane matchup. The protected by the arrow.
That's the bait of the century. Teckle just moves forward, chains himself so that Bouncy would hit him, and then Fury's just throwing the arrow there.
Yeah, I mean, Crossfire know enough not to take the bait at least. Credit to
That's true, though, yeah. No one's getting baited by that. No one's knowing that Teckle's just standing right in front of your tail doing nothing. He's not AFK for his game.
No. Oh, Xavier constantly pressured by the Spectre, actually. It goes both ways in this lane.
But no deaths. No deaths. Unless on the support, Andros has gone down. Spag really hasn't been able to keep Xavier down. In the last hits, it's still there. The net worth is, what, 300 difference? Do you want Wind Ranger to be winning this lane?
You would rather Spectre be farming less than Wind Ranger be farming more, I think, but Crossfire probably is happy to have any core that's kind of getting significant farm out of this lane. So I think both teams are kind of okay with this lane in a vacuum. Crossfire are probably more panicked given what's happening in top and mid.
Oh yeah, not looking real big comfortable there. Fury's just sitting in the top lane, just pressing up Bouncer. Tobe says, not feeling the biggest impact himself. Teckle, he's going to get himself his own Necronomicon. In fact, it's on the courier and it's already coming out. Poison Touch, in fact, he did just purge himself, so maybe, yeah, you just go for Tobe. Did he just kill himself here? Really hope not. Beside of Business might be able to 7. Teckle's going to be half HP. Doesn't have himself Shadow Arts, does have a little bit of one to get a little bit back HP, and they're just going to turn back the other way. Bouncer is going to survive himself a little bit of regen, but it's a side of Biz that takes down Teckle anyway. Fury jumping for the kill if he can get it, but he's behind the tower. Bouncer will go down, and Tobes can't finish off Fury, who is regenning, and maybe going for Tobes too, but the kills are traded. Both cores are dead, and I think that's kind of more worth it for Bouncer, right? Maybe he didn't want to die here, but the kill on Teckle gives him some space, and, you know, at least it gives Teckle more XP to get close to level 6.
Yeah, I'd say it's kind of even. It's hard to say who got more out of that. Obviously, like, any kill on Baosu, Neet's are going to claim as a win, right? Like, it definitely slows him down. But at this point, he's pretty punished by this lane anyway, so you got to argue that him getting a trade in kills is probably better than he'd do in most situations. TechCore kind of played really boldly there. It almost was a Galaxy Brain move, because you saw Baosu actually stopped hitting the Dazzle, possibly assuming he had Grave, when actually TechCore has no points in the skill. Unfortunately got exposed for that then. When the Oracle cast the nuke, Baosu just turns around, throws the Slight for free, and finishes him off. But Fury managed to mop that one up, which is not a sure thing either. Really impressive support play from him.
Well, he was going on to the tower for that one, so he was going straight to the limits. TOONZ could have got that turn kill and maybe just helped out the Oracle. And Oracle with gold and XP is fantastic, but a dead Kozi is feeling great for Reverie. Putting the Quap in the ground, and just at level 6 too. The man is able to push your tier 1 tower so fast.
Yeah, again, I mean, last game we mentioned how Reverie was the one who was doing the best out of the Crossfire cores, and how his initial item decision and decisions about which fights to take really influenced the shape of the game. I'm afraid the same responsibility rests on his shoulders here.
And he's got caught between him. It's going to take him a while, but the tree should be down. Fury is coming down to help one out. I mean, okay, sure, just as hey. Got to put the Andros down, but Xavier isn't being dead yet. Reverie's getting the space in the mid. The game isn't completely terrible for Crossfire. Even if Baosu is getting super pressured, they've got enough farm to make something with it.
Well, I mean, they've got a limited window to do something. Oh, wow, that arrow from Fury. I'm sorry about cursing you, buddy. Some curse must have affected his aim there, because that was way off, or at least not coordinated with Spag's stun. But yeah, with the way the side lanes are going, I think Reverie definitely needs to go huge from this moment forth. He hit level 6, this is his power spike, he's the strongest hero on the map, arguably. Let's see what he can do. Can he get a tower?
How do you want to get these towers? Do you just want to get the mid towers, or do you want Reverie to make a rotation into one of these lanes and force their outside towers, make the space from Baosu with it, or is he just going to be a magnet himself?
I think it's possible that coming and pushing out the Spectre's tower might bring more heroes further away from Baosu, and that would be good, but perhaps the mid tower is the safest to push, since I don't think your team can really spare you supports to back you up, and the mid lane is the shortest one.
That's true. He's the one to usually take tackle. Still able to seal up those runes himself. Man's got a point in Grave finally, so you're not going to get that sleight of fist anymore. Not too greedy out of this. Fury's back into mid lane, setting up for Reverie. It seems, but Baosu is still 1v1ing up this Dazzle, with Dazzle seeming to be getting the better of this trade. 39 last hits for Baosu, a couple more deaths. Poison touch just going on. TOONZ isn't exactly here to save him yet. Okay, there we go. And Andros getting in position. In fact, they're just going to go straight for him. They're going to ram it forward. Andros needs himself Nature Grass, but he's still moving back. Tackle is going to be changed for now, but is the damage going to be there? He does have Grave. He can just save himself. What are we doing? How are we committing so hard? What is Dazzle? Yet a Sonic Wave just cleaning up. Baosu is gone. They're moving forward. The stuns are coming in. It's a double kill. It's a triple kill. And Neet Uprising, they're happy to take your bait every day when it ends up giving them a triple kill to Kozi.
Oh my god, if not skilling Grave at all, and then was the Galaxy Brain dying because you don't have a point in Grave, and then going back for the point in Grave so that you bait them into diving on you, that's the Universe Brain from TechCore. And that's what I'm going to assume happened, because otherwise Crossfire has made a really ill-advised gank for no reason.
Oh yeah, they kind of played himself there, like, okay, let's get 3 heroes in, because this man, he's got 3 points in Shadow Wave for sure. He would never put a point in the same himself, but it cost him some towers. I mean, Reverie wasn't even in the mid lane to take the mid tower from it. Baosu is now sitting in the mid lane trying to get some farm out of the mid lane, just sacrificing the top, and it seemed like Neet Uprising, they took control of the jungle in game 1. They're taking control of the jungle again in game 2.
Radiant's bottom tower.
Yeah, I mean, this is like basic good Dota. It's not staggering. Oh, that arrow, that's a tough arrow to hit.
So close. The creep got out, yeah. I won't throw it past
Yeah.
it. It's much better than the previous arrow.
Dire structures are
He tried.
fortified.
But yeah, I mean, this is like Dota 101, but also, I mean, it's no less effective for that. We've seen it in every single game tonight. The winning team is the one that very early on takes a position in the enemy jungle and just puts these very deep wards up. We'll see if Crossfire can actually deep ward them this time, but last time they were the bane of Baosu's existence, getting multiple kills on him, and it looks like the same here.
is under
Oh.
attack.
Nah, he gets out. He's good. He's got a remnant for safety this time, but the pushing has started. River, Xavier, TOONZ even in the bottom lane. They're setting on up. Necronomicon plus the birds are a powerful pushing force, even with the Helmet of Dominator and Visage giving a little bit of extra damage with the crit wolf. So you really got to put some resources down to shutting down Rivery right now. The man's got the most last hits. He's just going to transition from lane to lane, and maybe this is how Crossfire take hold back of this game, because maybe you can take a tier 1 mid, but they can push much faster than you can.
Yeah, exactly. It's kind of a race against time, right? For a window here, Reverie is kind of like a stronger pusher as the entire Neet Uprising team, and Crossfire can potentially really use that. So far, they are using it better than they used his Dragon Knight in Game 1, but he has to be careful. He gets caught out by a bunch of heroes who could very easily die. He's worth a lot of money, and his hero will fall behind if he dies here and kind of lose that advantage he currently holds.
Spectre going for a little bit of a more safe build. He's got the Blade Mail just to pay off against all the magical burst damage that Ember and Wind Ranger pick up, but it does slow his timing down quite a bit if he's going for a big item like, say, the Radiance.
Invisibility.
Yeah, it's an interesting one. I guess you just assume there's so many ways to get onto the Spectre and to disable her here that perhaps the Radius just would not have a chance to pay off. Blade Mail, though, it means you're going to be relying more on your other cores, but I mean, the other cores are having great games. Tech Core is still out farming the Spectre here.
With the TOONZ, actually TOONZ waited on him. Xavier is not going to die here, so they just go for TOONZ instead. He has to grape himself, and now they just need to run on back. Andros, though, he gets himself the overgrowth. He's holding them down, and Kazi, with the Suns, you've got the grape, but how long will it last? It turns out it's long enough. He survives another day. Xavier is dead. Rivery just gone back to his tower, but Riz came on top with his haunts. Just pressuring on to Crossfire here, shutting them down behind their tier 2 tower. They're moving forward. The creeps are coming. The birds are getting some height and some vision onto this max here. But can you find him? No, you're going to get yourself 200 gold creep in the form of a crit. Well, Bouncer is going to side of fist you a couple times. Was not going to actually earn to do anything. And now Neet Uprising. They've got a fantastic position in their jungle, and Bouncer is having to be kicked out again and being chased down, trying to side fist dodge yourself a poison touch. So much pressure from Neet Uprising, which isn't being seen on the Spectre, to be fair. Spectre's just farming, and every single time she needs to join these fights, she's just haunting, and then she goes right back to farming.
Yeah, I mean, this is similar to what we saw TOONZ Reborn do with the Spectre in our first game of the day, but their Spectre play was cut short by the fact that their team kind of lost control of the map, and they didn't secure the Spectre's farm, whereas like the Neet Uprising team are not only doing a better job of pulling Crossfire away from Riz, but Riz has gone for this more conservative item build and was babysat for longer. It's really all working out. We're seeing a better execution of a Spectre draft here, and part of it's just due to the fact that Tech Core is dominating so hard on this Dazzle Ray.
They're about to dominate Spag, maybe. Okay, yeah, Basu takes it. He needs it. The man needs some gold. He's down to 4,000 again. It's kind of mirroring his last Morphling game. They've just pressured him so hard both games in this series.
I think this is a way that we've seen Neet's Uprising like successively beat Crossfire across multiple seasons, right? I'm not saying that Basu is a weak link, but the team's reliance on his farm maybe, and the fact that he does tend to play these carries that take longer to come online means that he's always a soft target in the early levels. Wow, barely dodges that arrow with the slight, but does dodge it. Good job.
Does get in. Nice arrow from Fury, but space is still there, and you can just see all these lanes pushed out. Kazi has had a surprisingly quiet game. Usually we're seeing him ganking these lanes constantly between the 10-minute mark, just make it a crazy game, but he's been pretty quiet. He hasn't even been dictating much in this game. He seems to be just responding to what Fury sets on up when he's in the area, really.
Yeah, well, he got a kill top before and got that assist from the shallow grave, but you could see there how much damage came out to him very quickly from Reverie, right? He has to be very careful about over-committing into the root from the tree, the change from the ember. Like, there's a lot of control for this club and a lot of single-target damage. He just doesn't want to feed gold, and there's no reason to, right?
Oh, fair enough. Play a little bit safe. You don't need to give away the lead that you've got, which is 5k already. 12-4 between these two teams. Reverie did smoke on up, but it turns out nothing's going to come of it because Xavier's smoke is broken. Kazi's going to actually find somebody. Does he see Xavier? He's going to the high ground, going to get himself a nice little dagger in the back, but he's running. The wind run is coming out, but Spag is getting caught in the back, and now Reverie's going to be isolated. They've got a grave to save, and they've got some more birds coming out, but Spag is going to survive again. There's your grove, but doesn't actually get anyone because Haunter's coming. The Sonic Wave is fantastic, and TOONZ has to grave himself. So Rivery is dead. TOONZ is just surviving for now, but I don't know how long he survives for. Andros being just cleaned on up. Riz is just doing a job. And yeah, TOONZ dead. You landed the shackle, but you lost 3, and you still graved yourself. So Rivery, your highest net worth on your team, got blown up first. He couldn't do anything in that fight. These priorities from Zoroark are being just forced out by Neet Uprising.
Yeah, that was a really difficult team fight. Both teams playing quite well, very cagey. Both teams have very mobile heroes as well. But just the ward vision that Neet Uprising have in the enemy jungle, and the fact that they know what they're looking for in their fights, they just sort of hang around and hang around. They chew away at the Gravekeeper's cloak on the Visage with their dots, and they finally pounce, and they get in such a position that the Oracle is caught out on the front lines, and like you said, has to use the false promise on himself. That's 2 fights in a row now that he's done that. You have to admit when you do that you've kind of failed on the hero. I'm not saying that TOONZ is a good player. He's being put in a difficult spot, but like it has to be done better than that. You cannot be using false promise on yourself.
Tackle's been found. This should be a pretty fair kill. He's gonna actually grave, but can you stop it? You got bird? No, wait, what? What? Hey, what? Oh man, that is not a good feeling. The tip as well to Bouncer as he came in and couldn't get the chains off. Tackle survives. That's 4 heroes going in there, and Rivery just doesn't have the birds to stun with.
Yeah, that's an insult to injury type situation. Might not be game losing on its own, but you have to imagine, especially after that debilitating game 1 that Crossfire, their morale must be in the pits after missing kills like that. On Tekor as well, again, playing this Dazzle hero, not a conventional lane-dominating off-lane hero, but Tekor playing it to perfection in a good matchup, and just becoming the bane of the Crossfire side.
Oh, he's been playing fantastically this series, really just MVPing it up. The Venomous dominating the first game. Tekor just dominating the second game, destroys Bouncer in the lane, takes a nice jungle hold again, and then he's just working with the team and just dictating everything. They've got so much attention on him, and it's not even costing him anything. He's just TPing out. Even if he dies, Riz has been farming the entire time. He's still been haunting to the fights. Kozi's been saved for him. He is really on point both games this series.
Yeah, and of course Tekor with the Dazzle, you might imagine as a sacrificial offlaner he'd be falling behind, but again, he's got the Necronomicon, the smart man's Midas, and he's just using these Necrobook creeps to farm so efficiently that he's actually barely behind the Spectre on net worth, despite all this attention he's getting.
Well, Moonlight Shadow's going to come out, so a little bit of attention on the Crossfires coming straight from Neet Uprising. Tekor moving forward, as he always does, to try and scout out maybe Xavier. Big kill if he can get him, it's hard to do with Wind Run. Oh no, he's going to stun him in his face, blow him up with the arrow on top. He's gone, he's gone. You only have about 1,000 HP, and they've got a billion points of damage into your face. So Xavier taken out, does a buyback, but we're just going to be marching. If we are Neet Uprising, marching into your jungle, taking control, and at the same point in time, Crossfire, they've kind of abandoned their jungle. They've gone into yours. They've gone to take Radiant's runes, take a little bit of space. Bouncer's taking the creeps, and Kozi actually is going to find him. He's going to see Bouncer, should be able to get the safety, but they're going to be chasing down. Spag is going to be finding himself on the other river. There was Kozi's courier, but it doesn't really matter when you take down Bouncer again. Always playing a little bit too aggressive, and as soon as you find him, that is going to chase you down again. Neet Uprising getting the value kills here.
Yeah, Neet Uprising getting all sorts of value out of the map right now. It's very impressive to see, and I mean, even though it doesn't look like as much of a disaster as the game 1, I see a similar, timing window closing for Crossfire. This Riz Spectre is getting farmed. Worrying sign.
It is true. About to be 10k, evening up with Tekor, who's got so much goddamn gold. It's insane. TOONZ is going to die again. Just a Spag and Kozi is teaming up to get some kills, but Rivery, Xavier in position. Maybe they can find some heroes out. No, they're just going to walk away. I mean, at least Andros is pushing out one of these lanes, but that timer is still coming. Kozi. All right, the shackle's there. We're going to have to get the focus fight, but is the damage going to come out? No, the procs aren't there, and he gets away. The silence, but the birds are coming. He needs to get back to safety. The birds are going to trace his life. Can he blink away? They're splitting the birds. One way, one lane left. Bouncer just trying to keep his tier 2 safe, but Kozi is blinking back to safety. He's good. He's back to safe. They're not going to find him. They still chase him, but they're going to be finding Bouncer anyway. Arrow in the back does get dodged, but a Remnant. Nice little play. The chain's going back to keep him back, but the pressure, it's still on him. He may not get a kill, but you didn't get a kill on the Kelsey either. So no good stories are coming out for Crossfire right now. Maybe you saved Bouncer a little bit, but he's not getting the goal acceleration that he wants. And Riz is back to the bottom lane to push out the lane that Andros pushed back in to happily take that farm.
Yeah, both core players making some pretty fancy plays there to avoid death. Cozzy, not just like running up into the blinking the right way multiple times, the correct timing, the blind blink, like as the Wind Ranger commits to checking the direction, blinking over her head, and then continuing to run. Just great game sense. You can tell how comfortable Cozzy is on this quad.
Ooh, I don't even know if he dies here. Horn's gonna come in, get on the backside. They can actually just go straight for Bowsu. Bowsu's getting stunned. Bowsu's getting chased. Spag is trying to solo kill Bowsu. They just destroy Bowsu. Fury helps on out, but man, Spag is the MVP of that kill. And 2 kills already dead. TOONZ is gone. Bowsu's dead. Rivery's running. Cozzy is blinking. Xavier's trying to get back to his base, but I don't even know if he's gonna survive. But because they're just running him down, Sonic Wave's gonna finish him off with help of Riz. They're just getting kill after kill and just getting kill. Another kill. Make it another. Make it a 4. Because Andros is just being found out by Sentry. He was hanging there to keep the creeps back, but it ain't gonna happen. The moves are flying, and the towers are dying, and now I think we're about to go high ground.
Yeah, and here we go. The Spectre is getting farmed. Now we have, you mentioned, no Radiance, but a traditional build of a carry Blade Mail first into a Manta. The Fighting Spectre build normally might not be enough in terms of how much damage you deal at this point in the game, but the level 4 blood loss from Spag is so strong, and they're tearing this tower apart as 5 right now.
Oh yeah, tier 3's gone. Nobody. Oh, they've got Bowsu back. They're about to have Andros, they're about to have Xavier, but I don't think you save your active. It's Sonic Fist does literally nothing. In fact, they're just moving forward. Spag wants to Sonya so badly, but I think you want to keep your axe up a little bit more. So take the axe, they will come back. Don't get sacrificed. Anything Rivery can't even defend. It's kind of one of the downsides of Visage here, right? He doesn't do well at defending high ground defenses.
Yeah, I mean, Visage has like a window where he's incredibly powerful and obviously can scale as well if your team's doing well, but I don't know if it has like the potency as a solo hero. He's still just too vulnerable to really hard carry the game by himself, and so we saw that brief period where he's taking towers, he solo killed the Quap, but since then, not much impact.
Does he? What? No, you gotta stop doing this to them because he survives again. Can they get Riz? Can they get Riz? No. Okay, Andros, done to it. He's alive. He's alive. He's good. Cozzy is getting out again. They're both getting out. The cause will never die. Spag is sacrificing himself to save them. Riz will finally die. Xavier does get him in the end of the power shot, but my man, Cozzy is still good. The Revenants are amazing for Bowsu, but they will not be finding themselves a Queen of Pain. She is blinking away. Tekor is running away. The birds are on hunt, trying to beeline something down, but the Moonlight Shadow's going to be there. So if you don't have a sentry, you aren't finding anything unless you find an initiation attempt from Cozzy. He's got himself the Orchid, but he does just blink away from Bowsu. Not looking to take this fight if he doesn't have to, but still. I guess you're kind of happy with the kill on the Riz there. I mean, you did kill the Spectre. It's a little bit of space, and you're in a good position to maybe push this tier 2, but you kind of feel like you wanted more out of that.
I mean, you always want more, but I think you have to be happy with the kill on the Spectre right now. You've been struggling to do that for so long, and even then you're a little bit lucky. I think maybe Tekor thought that the Spectre was already out and safe and just didn't heal him, instead ran into the fight. Oh.
They took the fight because Bowsu isn't here. They're going to take a 4v5 to 1. In fact, they're just going to be trading down to Fake, Xavier, and Rivery. Hoops has been found in the trees, and Tekor's going to finish him off. In the backside, it looks like Cozzy has found himself Xavier. Blinking forward, going to get a Shadow Strike and just chip away at the Wind Ranger. She only has so much HP, so it's going to maybe take a while. Xavier's making it work for it, but it will happen. It is going down. That's a double kill in the end. Bowsu goes and leaves the opportunity for Riz to just haunt on in and get some kills back for Neet Uprising. Taking the lead to a 12k gold lead at 24-7. Only 25 minutes in the game, and the farm is insane. Riz has got so much. Tekor, he's got top net worth. He's 14,000 on a Dazzle.
Yeah, it's very interesting, right? I almost have to admire the Neet draft. You expect the Spectre lineup, especially with like the threat of either a core Ogre or a core Dazzle. You're like, right, this is definitely a 4 Protect 1 setup. We're going to see a very traditional Spectre Radiance build, and we just have to shut down Riz, right? And they sent a strong offlane in, and they really did restrict his farm early on, but they didn't count on Cozzy and Tekor actually becoming like 2 of the top cores, right? They're top 3 on net worth, doing at least as much as Riz's Spectre, and Riz is very comfortably flexing into this easier to build set of items that's led them its mid-game timing.
Well, DD and Bowsu might be a difference maker to defend the high ground, but at least the catapult's going down. They've already started Fist and, blasted back the creeps and blasted back Neet Uprising, it seems, but still the map is completely open to these guys. 13k gold lead means, hey, it could mean Aegis, it could mean the tier 2 on the top, it can mean the entire map is yours, and this lead is looking like it's not going to be slowing down anytime soon, unless you smoke. Unless it's a 5-man smoke between them, but everybody else is out. Maybe you can get yourself Fury, maybe you can get yourself, I don't know, Spag, but you're not going to get the big value kills that you really want. Tech was even taken down the bottom outpost, and they can see both calls down there, but Rivery, yeah, he's going for the river to kind of get them, but you split up at this point. Bouncy moving forward, you're going to be trying to chase them, but they're just running back to the safety of their T3 because I can't see a single hero on the map, and the waves are pushing into their base, so I'm pretty sure they know exactly what is up. So is anybody going to die from smoke? No. Oh, Riz! He got found!
They found him!
He got shackled! He manted himself to shackle himself, and now he's dead. Oh, man.
Wow, from downtown, the longest smoke, but the big payoff in the end, it was worth the run across the entire map when you kill the enemy Spectre core. That is massive.
Yeah. It didn't seem like they were going to get anything but that manta. The shackle from Xavier, just getting them that Spectre was insane, and that's well worth it. That's a big kill off this map, and I mean, Tekel may have most of the farm, but you might be able to take a fight now if you wanted, but then again, it is Spectre. She can always just haunt back in.
Yeah, that's true. You have to be very wary of that. I mean, like, Xavier finally getting the chance to make a difference in this win rate. You mentioned as a playmaking hero, it was going to be huge, but, you know, the Necro Book item timing hasn't really worked out when they lost control of the rest of the map, and it's only now they've started to play his way back into the game.
But here goes Sonic Wave going forward, getting Xavier, cleaning up, instant buyback from Xavier, but there are Aegis. It's being picked up by Fury, who snatched it, and everything turned into a disaster for Crossfire. Rivery's gone, Andros is gone, TOONZ is gone, the birds are gone, Xavier's buying back, Bouncer couldn't even join that fight, and you don't even get the aim. You don't even get it. Fury picked it up in the end. The Sonic Wave combination with Marana just jumping in, perfectly timed to pick it up. Takes everything back to Neet to control Izez, and man, that is just so demoralizing for Crossfire.
I didn't even realize initially that they got the Aegis steal as well. That Sonic Wave was so good, and it's just brutal. That little bit of a disable was enough. Fury jumping in and getting the Aegis, and again, like, just the burst damage was so strong. Killing the Wind Ranger basically immediately meant that the False Promise ended up going onto the Visage, which, I mean, okay, it's not quite the Oracle False Promising himself, but Visage is not really the hero that you want to be putting that kind of spell on, right? The hero itself doesn't do that much. You really need it on Baosu or Xavier, and the teamfight's just not coming together for Crossfire. Now 20,000 gold in the hole, plus the Aegis.
Oh yeah, Bowser's trying to slide this back, but he's got no items to do it with, so he kind of just chips at you, and it doesn't really care because Fury's got a second life. Looks like they've caught themselves, maybe Spag and backs up, but the Lotus Orb is doing so much, just reflecting everything back to Bouncer. They've silenced Bouncer, and they're going to kill Bouncer. Sonic Wave just being committed because that is skill you want, and that man's got no buyback. 48 seconds on the sideline for him, and just being chased down himself, got a poison touch on a tree, and this is going to cut on down. This is just the base. Moving on in, the buybacks are coming. Andros is going to join this fight again, but what can he do? Do they even have birds in Rivery? I know they have Necropooks, they have the Spectre, they have Spag, they have Cosy, and have no racks in the top lane. Nice shackle from Xavier, but I think that's all she wrote as they just keep on taking down these buildings, not even scared of the power of the Wind Ranger, who, I mean, at this point, she's got the Maelstrom and Necronomicon herself, but is it enough? No, Rivery is just going to be arrow. They're going to dodge a little bit of magical damage, but then you just go back to the physical, and you find yourself the Visage again. Taken out. Does he have buyback? Nope. 54 seconds away from him. Xavier just running back to the safety of his fountain, but is it even safe? That's the question you gotta ask, and okay, it's safe for now, but they can just move on back, take your one racks, or go straight for the tier 4s. They force out the living armor onto one of the tier 4s, and they go, yeah, screw it. I'm gonna take the mega creeps and just seal away this game. I don't even think that they can really come back. Bouncer's gonna try. Slapfizz coming in. Next Graft's gonna keep back, but Xavier is being found again. The Suns are just adding up. Even Gabe is working against you when the multi-cast chances are just gone straight for Spag, and back to the buildings, back to the drawing board, because it's 33-8, and I think Crossfire have just been outclassed in this game.
Neet Uprising are not tolerating any more of this. They are ending things now. They know their strength, and I mean, Crossfire have been made to know it as well. Just being killed relentlessly in their own base. Can't even whittle these heroes down. Of course, when you've got a core dazzle, pretty hard to chip away at your health, and they are using that sustainability to its fullest now, just hurting them back into the fountain.
Yeah, they're good try. River is moving forward, does a bit of damage, but yeah, that's about it. Let's is massive. There's your overgrowth. There's Medium coming in. It's going to be able to land on 2-3, and maybe Spag dies out of this, but Big Heavy's going to pop by Cozy, and charge on ball. We're going to throw those stacks out, try and get Bowser, who's isolated. Does roll it back to base, but doesn't get fast enough. Man, with the Sonic Wave there, it's going to be finishing off every single hero. Just grave up Riz. That man's not even scared about dying. He goes back in just at the end. The moves are coming. I think game 2 is done, and Neet Uprising really just outclassing Crossfire in this series.
Yeah, Fury on the support Mirana has now outfarmed even the most farmed enemy core. He is on a godlike streak. This is a rare moment. I'm sure he's savoring it right now. And the Neets have never looked more dominant over their rivals than right here. This has been a shellacking in 2 games.
That is true. Last week they did lose the game, but then again they were down a player. Riz was playing in the off-lane position last week, and now he's back to carry. They've got back Tekor, and they are feeling pretty strong. These guys have been just playing perfectly both series here.
And oh my god, how you could not more aptly demonstrate the impact Tekor has on this lineup, or how much this exact team specifically synergizes so well with each other. Look at how influential he's been in both of these games, playing these weird heroes that I don't really think you could easily replace him on.
No. This impact is insane. I would say he's basically been the MVP in both games, right? Venomancer and doesn't play outstanding.
Yeah, he's the most annoying man in Australia, at least as far as Dota 2 is concerned. Baosu will be slamming the desk right now. I mean, maybe not literally, but in his mind, he will be full of rage. It's hard to play a couple of hours straight of Dota where you just cannot do a single goddamn thing on the map. Tekor just hounding him relentlessly, first on Veno, then on Dazzle, poisoning the team of Crossfire to death.
Oh yeah, poisoning. They've just worked out exactly what you need to do to really just deal with Crossfire. If you just pressure in Baosu so hard, the main carry of Crossfire, who we know they love to put so much emphasis of, can't do his job. He can't perform at his best, and that's Neet Uprising just taking complete control of the game. Do you think other teams can kind of adopt this strategy against Crossfire here?
Yeah, I think absolutely. Obviously, you need to have the execution, and not everyone can play offlane Veno and offlane Dazzle to that masterful degree of skill. But I think the lessons can be learned is hero drafts, right? Like you just pick a hero that is hard to outplay, because a lot of Bowser's heroes, like the Morphling, like the Ember, they're based on, can you use these skills to dodge damage? Can you outmaneuver the enemy? And there's just an effort to play a different game from the Neet's draft, right? Like the Veno and the Dazzle don't care about that. They have very consistent damage that will just stack up on you over time and make it impossible for you to play the laning phase that way. Eventually, you just run out of health.
Yeah, it seems like they just ran out of time because Neet Uprising, they dominate. In fact, both these series have been pretty amazing. Neet Uprising really have just proven themselves much better than last week. But FFY V2 in our first series tonight, they've proven just as dominant as last week as well. 2-0 against TOONZ, REBORN and Crossfire. Fortunately going 0-2 to Neet Uprising, which means Neet Uprising, they're taking top on the leaderboard, I believe. Just sitting up there with FFV2. No, I'm mistaken. FFV2, they're solely up the top. Second place is now Neet Uprising.
Yeah, thanks to AGN stealing a game off of Neet's last week. A great upset for them, and we said at the time it would make a difference, right? Because these top teams, they need every point they can get when they're not playing against each other, and so Neet Uprising find themselves solidly in second place. To be honest, it's hard to split them after 2 dominant performances, but FFY V2 maybe even looked a bit stronger. I would be very interested, though, to see FFY against Neets, Neets against Oracle, and Oracle against FFY. Those are shaping up as real high-caliber clashes. Of course, Crossfire and AGN, you don't count any of them out. Even TOONZ REBORN, I would, say still have upset potential, but this is going to be a game to focus on for sure.
Oh yeah, 8:30 tomorrow night, AGN versus Oracle AU. We've seen the dominance from Oracle, but we've also seen the brilliance of AGN, who did take a game off Neet Uprising. So can these guys beat Oracle tomorrow night? I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Especially after Oracle would have been watching the games tonight and have seen how strong FFY V2 looked and how strongly Neet Uprising bounced back from their sort of undermanned effort last week. They have so much pressure on them to repeat and get their own 2-0, but they know that AGN have the potential to take games away from top teams, so the pressure will be on to maintain their spot at the top of the ladder going into week 4.
That is true, when it's only going to be one night between us finding out who's going to be the victor. So it's going to be all from us at LPL tonight. I'd like to thank our sponsors, Vodafone, Conquer, the New Zealand Army, and WD Black for sponsoring it. But we will be catching you 8:30 Australian Eastern Standard Time for the next series of LPL. We'll see you then.